Tonight from Sacramento, the 2004 NBA playoffs on TNT are being brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Over 2,800 nonstop daily flights to 60 destinations all across the country. By Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By Van Helsing. Now adventure lives forever. And by Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. A look at the Sacramento River with Doug Collins and Cheryl Miller. Kevin Harlan welcoming you to the capital of California with the Kings on top by 4. This equals their biggest lead. They're on top 10-6. Our McDonald's starting lineup: Sprewell, Garnett, Urban Johnson, Trenton Hassell, and Sam Cassell. For the Kings, Peja Stojaković, Chris Webber, Vlade Divac, Doug Christie, and Mike Bibby. The Kings have come out hitting 3 of their first, make it 5 of their first 8. The Timberwolves with it 37% to start the game. And here comes Kevin Garnett, who has yet to score. The shot clock is at 10, and Bibby is on Hassell with Webber knocking it away from Garnett with the shot clock at 4. And the big ticket fanning badly, and Garnett now 0 of 2, Doug.
Well, Sacramento, you set off to a good start, Kevin. 5 of their first 8 shots they've hit. They're in a nice rhythm. You see Mike Bibby throw one in. It's not going to count. But Flip Saunders, after a quick couple shots by Mike Bibby, took a timeout. What he's trying to do is control this crowd early. You're going to have a big emotional surge. They play a little over 5 minutes, Kevin. Now normally guys settle in and it gets down to execution. But Sacramento trying to get the taste out of their mouth with that terrible finish of game 2.
After getting outscored 16-1 at the end of game 2, as Peja Stojaković has it rejected by Garnett, who had 6 block shots in game 2. He has 2 block shots tonight. And here comes Garnett, scoreless so far. Early in the game was going to tell a lot about the resiliency of the Kings and the belief in the Minnesota Timberwolves with Urban Johnson getting a hook.
Well, Urban Johnson has 3 of their 4 field goals. He's gotten off to a nice start here, but Minnesota's come in here and beaten Sacramento twice in this building. They feel very confident and looked like they were going to be down 0-2. It's 1-1. It's a series now. Sacramento's in for a fight.
Our officials tonight: Dick Bavetta, Jim Clark, and Tony Brothers. And here comes Chris Webber with the shot clock down to 3, and Stojaković for 3. The number 2 scorer in the regular season. Good offensive rebound by Doug Christie. Took it away from Cassell. And out of the hands of Vlade Divac and a 4th Kings turnover. That's one of the things we have to watch. One of the things Minnesota's been turning the ball over in this series. Sacramento only averaging 8 turnovers a game. They already have 4. But sometimes you get home and you try to make that pass a little bit too cute through traffic. You got to make the simple play right now as you're trying to get back in the swing of things. Urban Johnson leads the Timberwolves with 4 points and 4 points for Mike Bibby. Those are the game highest scores so far. Again, Minnesota has gone 4 of 10. The Kings 5 of 11. And here comes Sprewell with a fake and a pass to Trenton Hassell. Hassell trying to tap it back up with a Kings foul inside, and Vlade Divac picks up the foul. It's number 1 on him. Now the big adjustment in game 2 was Latrell Sprewell played Mike Bibby. They put a bigger man on him, and it bothered Mike Bibby. He was only 4 of 17 after a big 33-point game. So what you're getting is a little cross-matching now, meaning these guys are going to try to guard different people, and we're going to have to watch that in transition here tonight. And Sam Cassell, who is just absolutely brilliant at the game, with the game on the line on Saturday night, Minneapolis winning it for the Timberwolves. I think what people are starting to realize, you have Chris Webber on this team and Peja Stojaković, but if you're going to beat Sacramento, you better control this guy. He was brilliant in game 1. You saw in the first round of the playoffs, he was great against Dallas. They slowed him down the other night and was able to get a win. So you can see they've geared their defense to try to slow down Mike Bibby. Bibby just assessed his first foul, and a nice spinning shot by Kevin Garnett coming off a 26-point performance on Saturday. Biggest lead for the Kings 4. Minnesota has not led in the game. We have our first tie now at 10. See, Cassell is guarding Christie, so he doesn't have to guard Bibby. So see if he goes inside against him. And it's Webber. With a rebound by Kevin Garnett, who snares his 3rd of the game. The other way comes Sprewell, who had 5 points in game 1 and 15 points in game 2. Cassell is shot for a high percentage every time and away from the ball. Garnett trying to work through traffic, and Doug Christie was trying to follow him, and he picks up his 2nd personal. Well, you used to be able to
bump cutters like that, and they've tried to clean that lane area up so you can get some cutting and passing through the lane. And I like the fact that they're going to let you cut through the basket now. Kevin, it used to be, that was a big part of the game, and the bodies were knocking guys around, and they've cleaned that area up. It's a much cleaner game now in the lane.
Anthony Peeler checks in with Christie now and some foul problems. Christie is also playing with a bad left foot. He's got plantar fasciitis and not practicing but playing. And Cassell with a Trenton Hassell jumper, which is retrieved inside by Mike Bibby. And here comes Bibby for the series. He is 14 of 38 coming into tonight, and already has started 2 of 2 this evening. And Bibby over Hassell with a rebound retained by Garnett. And here comes Sam Cassell, 40 points in game 1 and 19 points in game 2.
And this is when he's dangerous. In the open court coming down, he likes to work off screens and just pull up and shoot the jumper. He got the switch, and that's exactly what he did to Weber. So when you're guarding Cassell, you cannot run down the floor as a big man, Kevin. You got to turn and see the ball and try to build a wall against him so he can't get those kind of opportunities.
Doug, in this series, Sam Cassell from three-point territory has gone 9 of 14. He's been terrific as he spearheads a Minnesota 7-0 run.
Well, Sacramento went up 10-6. They'd hit 5 of the first 8 shots. They now have 4 turnovers. Cassell sees the switch. He pulls it back. Chris Webber does not get to him. He knocks it down. A 7-0 run. They now lead by 3.
Welcome back to ARCO Arena, where the T-Wolves have a 3-point lead. Well, this was Bobby Jackson yesterday at the Kings practice facility. He was doing some shooting drills and some balancing drills. It was interesting. He says that he feels fine when he's shooting and working on the half-court drills, but anything full speed or full court, he is not ready. And I'll tell you, Kevin, Doug, what was interesting, even though there have been reports that he will be back for Game 5, Bobby did say that may not be the case.
You know, Cheryl and Doug, that abdominal pull, that is a very delicate injury to try to rehab.
Oh, you bet. I remember Jerry West did that at the end of his career, and it really, I thought, ended his career. He had to retire because he just could not recover from that. Those are injuries. They're debilitating, and sometimes they're very small tears, but the way you have to cut in this game, they can be very, very painful.
Sacramento Kings have missed their last 5 shots after starting 5 of 8. Now 6 consecutive misses, and here comes Minnesota. You're concerned for the Timberwolves. Would they weather the storm? Cassell launching another 3. Rebound chased by Garnett into Cassell and around Stojakovic to Hassell, who comes in with the jam, and the Timberwolves have their biggest lead tonight.
You know, this crowd is a little subdued from the last time you were in there. I think they still are a little bit shook from what happened in Game 2. The Kings need to give them something to cheer about here early. Minnesota very confident playing here. They've won both games.
Peeler, who's taking the place of Christie, who's got a couple fouls. There's a foul by Irvin Johnson of Minnesota.
Well, Minnesota averages over 23 assists a game, under 13 turnovers. They're one of the best passing teams. Garnett with a great pass, Cassell with a no-looker to Hassell, and Trenton Hassell seems to be in the right spot at the right time on both ends of the floor in this series. The defense has been good against that man, Peja Stojakovic, as he steps to the line. And how many free throws in a row is that now for him,
65
Kevin?
consecutive free throws. Last miss, March 23rd on that defensive 3-second. He got up there. Now they get possession.
And it's 24 straight in the playoffs, I think. So.
Yep, exactly. Here's Bibby off the rim.
Again, Mike Bibby, he's the man. You've got to stop him. When he gets in the lane, he breaks your defense down, and then he gets Chris Webber easy baskets, Brad Miller, the rest of his teammates. You've got to stop his penetration.
That free throw by Stojakovic was the first of the game, and here comes Sprewell. And Irvin Johnson tapping it back in, and Irvin Johnson is leading the Timberwolves with 6 points, very reminiscent of Game 1 when he had the early scoring lead. Makes a steal right there. Here comes the big ticket at the other end.
You don't want to give Kevin Garnett those kind of field goals. You want to make him work. Remember, Game 1, he was 6 of 21. They did a wonderful job against him. He bounced back with 28 points. In Game 2, got to the line 14 times.
Anthony Peeler is having a horrible series. He is 2 of 12 shooting in the series. Sprewell stripped of the ball by Peeler, and that's where Anthony is making his mark, the ex-Timberwolf. And now 5 turnovers for the Kings and 2 for the Timberwolves, and Stojakovic fouled as he nails a 3-point off the rim. Hassell picks it up, and Stojakovic, with Hassell picking up his second, will go to the free throw line again for the Sacramento Kings.
Well, this kind of dribble penetration in the lane. You see Irvin Johnson comes over. Garnett tries to block the shot. No one to pick up Chris Webber, but Sacramento a little sloppy to start this game, Kevin. They have 5 turnovers. It's led to 6 points. And you can see that the Kings right now, you know, a little bit shaky with their ball handling stuff. I think they still have some after effects of that game too. They feel very strongly they should be up 2-0 in this series right now, but Minnesota 1-1 and feels very confident in this building.
You see 66 straight, and now he has gone 14 of 14 in the playoffs, and a miss.
I'll just let you talk about it.
No, I'm just saying it was a miss. That's all it was. Foul problems, 2 on Christie, and he's on the bench. And for the Timberwolves, 2 on Hassell, and Hoiberg takes his place. And Hoiberg is in. He's had a wonderful series so far and nails a 3-point shot. He was great in game 1, better in game 2, and is heard from early in game 3.
Well, he had that 8-point spurt in game 2 that gave them a 10-point halftime lead. Playing very tough. He's in now to play Stojakovic as Hassell rests.
And the Kings are shooting 6 of 16 for 2 points. And he gets a rare field goal in this series and brings the Kings to within 6. They trap Cassell. Here's Garnett with Webber there and inside to Olowokandi. And Garnett gives it back to Sam. A Garnett screen, a mismatch on Webber, and wide open Garnett. It's Stojakovic now closing in, and a 3-on Sprewell. And Brad Miller in the game with the rebound. And the baseball pass at the other end comes from Anthony Peeler. Now what's interesting about that is Anthony Peeler was a one-time draft choice of the baseball Texas Rangers.
Well, I could see that. That was a great pass. And Stojakovic needed that. He's been struggling. You get that man a layup, maybe he'll take off now with his jump shot.
No fouls to give either way. Here comes Olowokandi with a spinner over Miller. Rebound by Webber, and +2 the Kings are in rebounding tonight.
Well, Flip Saunders giving Michael Olowokandi every chance in the world to get himself going. He has really struggled in the playoffs.
It's Peeler to Stojakovic, who is 1 of 4, and Peeler for 3. Rebound by Kevin Garnett, and here comes Minnesota. They are shooting 43%. Again, no fouls to give either way.
The last shot of the quarter here, you know, Cassell wants to try to run a screen roll with Garnett. Probably they're going to have to trap him. You got to make Cassell pass the ball here at the end of the quarter. Can't let him shoot it.
How's the double? Here's KG thinking about 3. Pushing right there, and Garnett in this series throwing up his very first 3-point shot. He is now 0 of 4. Those are the numbers on Kevin Garnett, the NBA's MVP, with 6 rebounds and 4 points for the Timberwolves.
Well, Minnesota has to be very happy. In game 1 of this series, 34 points to Sacramento in the first quarter. Game 2, 12 tonight, only 18. A 16-8 run to close the period.
Dusk here in Northern California. We're in Sacramento with Doug Collins, Kevin Harlan. After 1 quarter of play, you see the Timberwolves on top by 4. And first quarters kind of lead the way for picking out who's going to win, who's going to lose.
You know, Kevin, I've always talked about first quarters, how vital they are, because they dictate sort of the way the game is going to be played. And I think you've seen in the playoffs what's happened is the team gets off to good starts have won a high percentage of the game. They're 38-9. You know, counting tonight's game against Indiana, so it's a good sign here for Minnesota. They're dictating the way they want to play. They've got a good rhythm. Cassell and Sprewell are only 2 of 9. They still lead by 4, and they have to be very happy right now with the pace of play. Only 2 turnovers. They're doing a nice job.
So we begin the second quarter, and Derek Martin has come in for the first time for Minnesota with Sprewell. Garnett, Olowokandi remains. Hoiberg is in there for Cassell, who's got 2 fouls. And this is Latrell Sprewell for 3. Rebound Stojakovic with Bibby, Miller, Peeler with the ball because Christie's got 2 fouls, and Dibot's continuing to man the center and seeing more minutes in this series than he did against the Dallas Mavericks. A turnover right there, number 6 for the Sacramento Kings. And Garnett, surrounded by white jerseys, had it knocked away. Did Miller get a hand on that? I think he did. Yeah.
Yep.
Stojakovic for 3. And a foul called inside on Olowokandi of the Minnesota Timberwolves, who is leaning over the back.
Well, Brad Miller does a nice job getting back into the play. Kevin Garnett tries to go up and under. Starts a fast break for the Kings. Stojakovic had a very good look at a 3, just could not knock it down.
The series is tied at 1 apiece. This is game 3, best of 7, Western Conference Semifinal. And that's knocked away by Kevin Garnett, who already has a couple blocks. That's his third tonight. He's got 9 in a little over 1 game. The 6 coming in game 2.
Which is a playoff record for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So Kevin Garnett does not have to score to be a big factor for his team.
In fact, he didn't hit from the field in that fourth quarter against the Kings, and a miss by Sprewell and a foul inside, I think, on Anthony Peeler of the Sacramento Kings. Peeler spent 5.5 seasons with Minnesota. They sent him to Milwaukee. He was cut there and signed as a free agent this summer by Sacramento.
Well, with Bobby Jackson being out, they need some good play from Anthony Peeler. I know he's really wanting to play well against his former team. He played 5.5 years for the Minnesota Timberwolves, but Christie now with a sore foot and foul trouble. They need some help from him tonight.
These are the first free throws by the Timberwolves tonight. And the playoffs continue tomorrow night on TNT as the Nets host the Pistons. That's a game 4. And the Lakers battle the Spurs. Coverage beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Friday, a pair of game 5 starting at 7. New Jersey, Detroit, Sacramento, Minnesota.
One of the things to watch for Minnesota, getting to the free throw line. When they make more free throws than their opponents in the regular season, they were 35-2. When they score 20 or more from the free throw line, Kevin, I think they're, what, 5-1 in the playoffs or something. So that is critical for them to get to that foul line.
But the problem is they don't get there very much. Here's a 3 by Stojakovic.
Got to lock into him now. See what's happened is Sprewell is stepping over to play him with Hassell out of the game. Got to stay locked into Stojakovic.
Here's Derek Martin and Latrell Sprewell. Timberwolves have missed their last 6 consecutive shots. Miller is on Kevin Garnett, who's got 4 points. And Olowokandi can't grab it. Here comes Anthony Peeler, who, while not scoring all that well, is doing the other things, some defense and some rebounding. Vlade Divac. Foul on Olowokandi, counted for 2.
Well, Vladdy's come to life from the Dallas series where he couldn't get in the game, Kevin. They played the small lineup. He and Brad Miller really struggled until Miller had the 2 games to finish that series. But Vladdy's got fresh legs. He's wheeling and dealing, and they need him to play well. This is a big a big Minnesota team, and they need the front line. He and Brad Miller really have been the 2 guys who shot the ball well and played well here in this series. Going into tonight's game, they were 16 of 27. As a combination, they were averaging over 21 points, over 17 rebounds, and almost 8 assists. So back to playing the way they did in the regular season when they played so well.
Doug, I know as you were coming into this game tonight, your main concern for Sacramento, what kind of insecurity would they carry over from the huge collapse at the end of game 2 into tonight? For Minnesota, you were thinking, all right, what kind of team are they believing they are? A team that, even though they won by a couple points, really control this series?
Well, they know, Minnesota, that they got up off the mat. They were very fortunate to be able to win that game. Otherwise, they're looking at an 0-2 hole after losing 2 at home. And from Sacramento, they have to feel good and say, look, we've got the home court now. We're 34-7 here in the regular season. We can't lose that advantage.
And saved by Divac, who goes diving in the crowd, but the ball remains in Minnesota's hands, and a second on the shot clock for 3. Latrell Sprewell knocks in the triple, and the Timberwolves by 3, and that breaks a drought of over 4 minutes from the field for Minnesota.
Sprewell only 2 of 9 from the floor. He's getting a lot of good shots. That one just a quick shot to beat the clock.
And the Kings now with the ball, shooting 43% from the floor. Doug Christie back in. Shot clock at 4, and he'll slither with the rebound. Divac climbing down, and a foul called on Gary Trent, who just checked in the game for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
But Doug Christie,
Irvin Johnson, who picks up his second, excuse me.
I'm sorry there, Kevin. Christie very upset. He thought he drew a lot of contact from Irvin Johnson as he drove that ball to the basket. Was just talking to Dick Bibetta there and said, what do I have to do to get to the foul line? Go back in there and make him call it again.
And a drive by Doug Christie.
Just like that. When they miss a call, go right back in there. They know they missed the play before that. That one was just minor contact. The referees are good in this league. They recognize, you know, if you're going to go back in there and take that contact, I'll reward you for that.
And Irvin Johnson, more importantly for Minnesota, picks up his 3rd personal foul for the Timberwolves.
There's a little bump by Irvin Johnson. The first time he got away with it, this time he didn't. The 3-point play opportunity. Sacramento emotionally starting to get back into this game.
Game 2 had many interesting twists and turns, but With about a handful of minutes remaining in the game, it was a 10-point Sacramento lead.
Well, then it started turning in Minnesota's favor. They drive and attack in the basket. Mike Bibby gets his shot blocked. Big play here. Sam Cassell on a broken play, steps out and buries a three. Then comes back, gets in the lane, hits the little floater, and then gives his team a 3-point lead. A little reminiscent of Tony Parker's shot in game 2 of the little crossover, against the Lakers. That one by Sam pulls up, and Sam, we know, hits big shots in the fourth quarter, and that's what he was brought here to this team to do. And his team got off the deck and won a game that looked like that they were destined to lose, Kevin.
At the free throw line, Doug, is Doug Christie. Kevin Garnett is on the bench. 3-point play for Christie. KG is there as he has gone 2 of 7 with 4 points and 6 rebounds. And Minnesota comes the other way, having missed 9 of their last 10 shots. And here's Sam Cassell, Gary Trent with the screen, and Cassell with a Stojakovic rebound. Minnesota for the game is shooting 37%. It's Divac, 2 of 4. Brad Miller off the bench. And Miller hitting his first offering tonight.
Yeah, Steve Lottie's a great passer out of that low post. Michael Olowokandi got to get his body into him, make it more difficult. Lottie just stood there and picked him apart. You got to put pressure on him.
Timberwolves have led by 8. Kings have led by as many as 4. Right now it's Sacramento by 2. I was talking before about the insecurity of this Sacramento team. How would they view themselves tonight?
Well, you know, you look in the mirror, and I said, tonight, are they a cat looking in the lion and seeing a cat looking in the mirror seeing a lion? Or are they a lion in the mirror looking at a cat? I mean, they've got to come out with that ferocity of a lion. Right. And I think they're starting to get that feeling back after a slow start.
A little candy with the miss. Anthony Peeler's got the rebound, and so far Sacramento is +5 in rebounding against the Timberwolves. Here's Miller with Trent on him. Hassell didn't play in game 2. Trent plays tonight early. Cassell with the rebound on the miss outside by Christie.
Kevin, the reason Gary Trent is in the game and not Madsen is see Cassell pull up and hit the little jumper. Is Flip Saunders feels like he needs more offense out there. That they don't guard Hassell. They very seldom guard Hoiberg. They need another scorer out there, especially when Garnett is down and Olowokandi's on the floor.
Garnett didn't have any personal fouls. He's just taking a breather. Leading scorers, Stojakovic has 7 and 7 for Sprewell. The quick double on Divac and a foul. And Olowokandi was trying to defend, and the former #1 overall pick in the NBA draft out of Pacific is hit with his second. As Garnett comes back in the game, and you can see how they started, where they are now.
Well, again, they got off to that great start, and I think Sacramento's picked up their level of defense. You know, Peeler's come in and did a nice job for them. Brad Miller's given them a nice lift off the bench, and when you look at the minutes, Kevin, Sacramento's only playing 7 guys. They play Brad Miller off the bench and Peeler. Minnesota's playing 9. If this goes to a 7-game series, could that be a factor?
Yeah, absolutely. Penalty with 7:20 left now, as you see Vlade Divac. And you mentioned it before, Doug. He only averaged 14 minutes a game in the Dallas series. In this Timberwolves series, averaging 25 minutes per contest.
Well, remember the last game that they won here in game 5. He played the first 4 minutes of the game, and Brad Miller played the last 44. Did not even get into the game against Dallas.
Rebound by Hoiberg on a missed shot by a wide-open Peja Stojakovic, who has started 2 of 8. His shooting is way down in the playoffs as compared to the regular year. Cassell with the Stojakovic rebound. But see, that's what Peja's been doing. Some defense, inside play, and rebounding. He's got 5 boards tonight.
Yeah, he's averaging almost 8 rebounds a game in the playoffs.
It's Brad Miller. Healthier game by game, day by day. And that has been huge for the Kings.
And that was too easy. You know, right now, Flip Saunders got to be thinking about, if I don't get much from Olowokandi, I might have to go to Madsen. Because he's going to come with some energy and some toughness.
Timberwolves have gotten 3 3-point hits in the game so far. Here's Hoiberg. He has offered one of those 3-point shots. Shot clock at 6. Olowokandi. Stojakovic with another rebound. And the Kings have only gone 1 of 6 shooting 3s tonight. Doug Christie with the bad left foot.
Very tough competitor, though, Kevin. He is a warrior on this team.
With the shot clock down to 3, Divac trying to spoon feed Christie. Olowokandi vacuums it in. And a 3-on-3 the other way with Sam Cassell. Christie and Peeler all over him. Hoiberg for three. Good! And this 31-year-old refugee from the Chicago Bulls and the Indiana Pacers, who says he attributes all of his accuracy in the NBA to Reggie Miller and Chris Mullin, because when he was with the Indiana Pacers, these guys taught him how to shoot in the NBA.
And he was doing that with Wally Szczerbiak the other day after Minnesota practice. What great habits he's picked up. He's a winner, and he's playing for a winner.
Tonight from Sacramento, the 2004 NBA playoffs on TNT are being brought to you by Home Depot. Go from wondering how to knowing how at the Home Depot. You can do it, and we can help. And by Adidas. Impossible is nothing. Not impossible for the Los Angeles Lakers as we take a look at our Bud Light around the league. Shaq put in 28. Lakers shot 57%. Game 4 tips off Tuesday in LA. It's tomorrow night on TNT at 10:30. Richard Jefferson scoring 30 points in the 82-64 New Jersey win over Detroit in Game 3. Game 4, 8 o'clock Eastern, tomorrow night on TNT. And it's only fitting that Magic will carry the Olympic torch during one of its legs in the way to Athens for this summer's games. He was a gold medal winner on the Dream Team back in 1992. With Doug Collins and Cheryl Miller, Kevin Harlan in Sacramento.
Well, Kevin, let's take a look here early in the game. Three-point field goals made. Minnesota has made 3 more, so they're plus 9 points there. Second chance points, they're plus 5. Points off turnovers, 9-2, they're plus 7. Sacramento winning the free throw line right now, but Sacramento been very sloppy here with the ball handling early in this game.
In the midst of our 6th tie, we've had 2 lead changes. Timberwolves have led by 8, Kings by 4. Peeler for the lead at 3. And Anthony Peeler now beginning to score in this series for the first time. 5 points and 3 rebounds.
You know, Kevin, the first 2 games, Minnesota's made 9 more threes going into tonight. Then Sacramento, they get from plus 27 in the first 2 games at the 3-point line.
And Olowokandi uncovered, puts it in. He's out there with Garnett, Cassell, Hoiberg, and Cassell. And the Kings with Miller, Peeler, Weber, Bibby, and Doug Christie, the double on Bibby. And here's Chris Weber, who in the game has 4 points and try to get around the defense of Olowokandi with the shot clock down to 9. Weber is 2 of 5. And they post Christie with a Kevin Garnett 7th rebound with his 4 points. Garnett. You know, they've been giving that shot right around the top of the key all night long.
Well, he has the ability to step out and make that shot. That's why Kevin Garnett in the 4th quarter, you should never be able to take that ball out of his hands because he has that ability to step out on the floor. Here he steps out and bumps Mike Bibby and gets the foul.
And that's number 1 on the big ticket.
Okay, when you saw him come in as a young player when you were broadcasting in Minnesota, the big thing I've noticed with his shooting, remember how flat his shot used to be when he came in? He's worked very hard. Kevin McHale has worked very hard with him getting that shot up. Nice trajectory as we see Kevin, the Hall of Famer, but he used to be very flat with that shot. Now he lifts it, and if he misses the shot, he gets a nice little roll up there, and he gets those soft touches sometimes where before you hit that shot with a hit that rim with a flat shot, and the ball just bounces everywhere.
Well, and Kevin McHale says, he's speaking from experience because when he entered the NBA out of the University of Minnesota, he had that very flat level shot.
Yes, he did. But, you know, that's Kevin Garnett going into the gym and saying, you know, teach me, work with me. And Kevin McHale has to be very proud of the growth of this young man into being the MVP this year.
Kings free throw, 7 of 9. Minnesota free throw, 2 of 2. Kevin Garnett with Bibby covering. The mismatch was there. And Garnett exploits, and the Timberwolves by 2.
Well, just take your time, just back the guy down, get the little bump, and go up and shoot it.
It's Bibby, 2 of 3. Weber slides it inside to Miller. And he gets his own miss.
Great hustle there by Brad Miller. Missed the easy one, didn't give up on the play.
Here comes Kevin Garnett, 8 points to lead the Timberwolves tonight with a nice hesitation inside. And Weber with his 2nd rebound. And the Kings are plus 7 in rebounding tonight. Anthony Peeler has caught fire. The number 1 3-point shooter in the NBA's regular season.
Well, they really need him to make shots. He stretches the defense, especially when you play into the post with Weber.
Hoiberg for three. And a Christie rebound.
Minnesota has to be very careful here. They played great in this first half. The run by Sacramento to try to finish off this half. Kevin, you have to always watch that.
Sam Cassell with the foul.
See the confusion. Michael Olowokandi could not get out there soon enough. It looked like Hassell and Hoiberg got confused on who was guarding whom on that particular play. See, that's what happens when you get the cross matches. You've got Hoiberg and Hassell out there, and they're trying to guard Bibby, one or the other down the floor. That time, neither one could get to him because it was a transition play. And that's where those cross matches hurt you, Kevin. You've got to really talk.
Cassell thought he had the foul, but they've changed it. They put it on Olowokandi, so he has 3. Irvin Johnson has 3 fouls. And those are concerns for Minnesota. Only 2 on Christie. Anyone with even the slightest bit of trouble for the Sacramento Kings. How does that affect Minnesota with big players, big in terms of size players, with foul trouble this stage of the game?
Well, it always affects you because that's the interior of your defense.
And into Mark Madsen, not playing in game 2, fouled by Brad Miller inside as he enters game 3 for the first time. Miller picks up a foul. Or was it Weber? Weber was reaching in, and Weber picks up the foul. And Sacramento was on a 7-0 run.
Well, you're going to love Mark Madsen. He plays 20 minutes in the first game, actually plays well. Comes back, does not play in game 2. He says, I'm ready when my team needs me. They need him tonight, and Flip Saunders has put him in the game.
From Studio A in Atlanta, this is Ernie Johnson. The Verizon Wireless Halftime Report comes your way in just a couple of minutes. Magic's here, Charles is here, Kenny is here. They're going to break down the first half, and we will look back at Miami's win over the Indiana Pacers, the first postseason loss for the top seed in the Eastern Conference. All that coming up on the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report. Back to Kevin 3000.
You got it, big boy. A 94-87 Miami win. They're jacked up down there. They've been drawing well in Miami, and that young team with a terrific Game 3 win over the Indiana Pacers.
Well, the Pacers had set a playoff record. They'd won their first 6 playoff games by double-digit points. They've been averaging 15-plus points per game winning, so that's quite a win for Miami to go back and win that basketball game. But it's we look here tonight, Kevin, we always talk about ending quarters, ending halves. Sacramento on a nice little run here. Minnesota coming out of this timeout's got to find something good to try to finish this half with. They've had a nice first half. They just don't want to let this slip away from them.
Here's Madsen, Doug, at the free throw line. Timberwolves as a team 2 of 2 from the stripe. Sacramento 9 of 11 as Madsen fans, and at the stripe during the series, he has only gone now 2 of 5 against Sacramento.
You know, when you think of Minnesota, you would say, why wouldn't they get to the free throw line more? You see Madsen missed the second one. Really, they only have one guy, Sprewell, who's going to drive in there a lot. Kevin Garnett is a guy who doesn't draw a lot of fouls, so they're a jump shooting team. That's one of their weaknesses. They don't get to the line.
Sacramento Kings are shooting 47%, and they turn over there for the 8th time, and Garnett into traffic, tangling with Bibby, and a Sacramento foul.
Just your normal move for a guy 7'1" in the open court, or 6'13", as Kevin likes to call himself. I mean, in the open court, the guy's got 2 people back. He shakes the point guard, takes the ball behind his back.
He admits he is not in his offensive rhythm right now. Tonight, Kevin Garnett has gone 4 of 10 from the field.
But see, the thing about it is, I mean, he can beat you by getting 25 rebounds like he's done here before against Sacramento. The game in here, he had 33 points, 25 rebounds. His 4 highest rebounding games in his career come against this team. I mean, he is a brilliant all-round player. He blocked 6 shots the other night. So he puts his team in a position to win in the 4th quarter. Make no bones about it. Without this guy, Sam Cassell's shots in the 4th quarter don't mean anything.
Absolutely. Garnett turns 28 in the middle of this month. Chris Weber with Garnett right there, and doubled by Madsen with a foul. Garnett was leaning on him with 2:25 to play before halftime. And Kevin Garnett picks up his 2nd foul.
Hand on the hip. You're not allowed to put that hand down. See, the hand gets up there, the reach in. Now, sometimes it's hard to figure out what's a foul and what's not. I was watching the Detroit-New Jersey game last night. That's one of the roughest games that I have ever seen. Webber walks to the line and misses a free throw. He missed a couple critical free throws in the fourth quarter of game 2. You know, Kevin Garnett, when he was growing up, he said his 2 favorite players were Magic Johnson, who's in the studio, and this guy at the line, Chris Webber. He said he really loved to watch these guys play basketball.
The Sacramento Kings, Doug, now for this series are plus 29 free throw attempts on top of Minnesota.
Well, they're plus 29 there, and the difference from Minnesota is they're winning the battle at the three-point line.
Here come the Timberwolves. They're shooting 40% for the field. And here is Sprewell. Oh, Madsen uncovered with a up high and down hard inside. Minnesota to within 2. Tailing Stojakovic, the left corner free, but he was able to maneuver down low. Stojakovic there to get another rebound. He now has 8 tonight. And Sprewell, good transition defense by the Kings. Back there to meet Cassell is Bibby, and a little double by Webber.
Going to free up a wide open shot though for Sprewell. When you have to go down and double team Cassell in the post, somebody's going to be wide open. It's either going to be Sprewell or Hoiberg or Hassell or whoever they have on the perimeter, and that's why those guys are knocking down those threes, because of the double teaming in the post.
Sprewell's got 9. He has put in 7 here in the second quarter from Sacramento. Here is Anthony Peeler, who has got his stroke going tonight with Cassell in his face. A tap by Hoiberg and picked up by Latrell Sprewell. Hoiberg saw, and there's Sprewell losing the ball. Nice defense by Anthony Peeler.
Well, he didn't give up on the play. He missed the shot and he hustled back, forced a turnover.
Minnesota's first turnover in the last 18 minutes. Now only 3 for the game.
Well, that's more of the way they played in the regular season. I don't know why they've been turning the ball over so much in the playoffs. They did it against Denver. They've done it against Sacramento. It's almost like they've been over anxious.
Mike Bibby has now gone 3 of 4 from the floor.
Well, Madsen didn't get out on that screen. He was on the wrong side of it. And with Bibby out there, you've got to trap him and force him to pass the ball.
And you continue to think that Mike Bibby is the key for the Kings. They go inside for Cassell, and a rebound by Stojakovic again.
Well, they got lucky there. Wide open shot from Sam Cassell, just missed it.
Bibby and Anthony Peeler for 3. Rebound by Mark Madsen. The Timberwolves have led by 8, and the Kings have led by as many as 5 and 2 to make 1.
Now pull up and shoot it. You know that in transition. That's where Webber's got to get out. I keep saying it over and over with Cassell. At the end of quarters, those 2-for-1s coming down, you got to get out. You got to trap him.
Difference of 4 seconds, the game clock and the shot clock as we wind down in a 46-46 ball game. Mike Bibby wound a screen that got Sprewell on him, which proved to be effective in game 2. Webber the miss, and now the Timberwolves have got to hustle. And here comes their 7'1" point guard, Garnett, to Sprewell. And missing at the buzzer, and we are tied at 46 at halftime.
Well, a great first half. You had a lot of sloppy play from Sacramento with their passing. They fought back into it, got to the free throw line. Minnesota started out well. They had a little bit of a lull period with their shooting. Finished the half nicely to get themselves back in the game.
Sacramento led by 5, 43-38 with about 3:11 left. And Minnesota goes on an 8-3 run to close out the first half and tie the game for the 10th time in the first half. So Ernie Johnson, the Timberwolves led by 4 at the end of 1. We're tied right now. The Timberwolves have led by 8. The Kings have led by 5. Only one player in this game is in double figures. That's Kevin Garnett. This is game 3, best of 7 Western Conference Semifinal. We're tied at a win apiece as we take you to our TNT studios and Ernie Johnson.
And every now and then there's not a halftime interview, so they come right to us for the Verizon Wireless halftime report. You out of breath? You all right?
I'm not out of breath, but don't do that again.
50-yard dash and a good cigar would knock you over right now. It's
I had a good cigar earlier.
46 apiece.
So you're halfway home then.
In game 3, tied up at a game apiece. What jumped out at you, Magic?
I just think that I was looking to see how Minnesota was going to come out on the road, especially after, playing 2 tough games at home. And I think that they came out with a lot of energy, and also they really came out and set the tone on defense more than on offense, because Sacramento turned it over more in the first quarter than they had really almost in those two games, in the first two games. So Minnesota, to me, the road team is always the team I look at when they go on the road to see how they're going to play. So Minnesota impressed me.
Minnesota, the only team to beat Sacramento twice at ARCO this year, and now trying to take a 2-1 lead in the series. What jumped at you, Jet?
Well, you could see how the importance of this game is, what the importance is. Because if you looked at game 1 and 2, they were very emotional games. When I say emotional, you saw a lot of high-fiving, a lot of cheering, and a lot of energy plays. Today was more, everything's cerebral. Guys make a dunk, they get back on defense. Guys make a deflection, they don't cheer, they don't taunt. Today is all cerebral because they know the importance of this game. The winner of this game has probably a 90% chance of winning the series, and I think guys understand that.
Well, if you look at the tempo, it's a Minnesota tempo. They're right where they want to be. I do agree with Kenny. I think the winner of this game will win the series. But you always have a chance to win at Sacramento. It's a great place with a lot of noise. But I don't think you can have a great home court advantage if you don't play great defense. So that's why Dallas went in there, and I thought they played well that game. They got eliminated. And that's why I think Minnesota always has the road team always has a chance there, because you can't be a great team without great defense.
You saw Sam Cassell hit the jumper there. He's got 7 points in the half. Kevin Garnett has 10 to lead Minnesota. We are dead even, 46 apiece with 24 minutes to play. You know, I told somebody earlier, this one's going overtime, so plan on staying up late. Still to come, could the Pacers stay unbeaten in the postseason? It's game 3.
Kenny, how many times are we going to see these highlights tonight?
Oh, I want to see this one again because I have some special interest with this.
The Halftime Report is brought to you by Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the NBA.
Can you hear me now? Good.
Back here on the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report, Jermaine O'Neal and the Pacers were unbeaten in the postseason, had won 11 straight overall, had beaten the Heat 11 straight times, and tried to take a 3-0 lead in this series. Game tied at 72 here, and the rookie taking over, Dwayne Wade.
Well, offensively, this is what I expected one of these games, or possibly two, to happen. They have too many guys that
are they going to win two games?
For Jermaine O'Neal.
That was nasty there.
Kenny, you said they're going to win 2 games?
I think they'll win 2 games.
Well, how much you want to bet on that?
I don't want to bet.
Lamar Odom, big bucket late, which was good because when he went to the free throw line, he was clanging a few and
There's a little sphincter action on that free throw
keeping Indiana
line.
in that
There was
game.
a little tight sphincter there.
But how about the play? You know, 20 of the 30 points for Miami in the fourth quarter came from the foul line. Caron Butler goes 8 for 8. Dwayne Wade goes 8 for 8 all in the fourth quarter, hitting some pressure free throws.
But you got to remember what type of team they are. They're a team that like to slash to the basket. They're a team that if you miss on your offensive end, they get out and run and take it to the basket. They have so many athletes on this team, and they're going to take it to the basket and take it strong. And so give them credit. They're a scrappy team. They make you work hard, they make you play hard, and they make you earn the victory if you're going to beat them. But tonight, they earned the victory by just playing together and getting out into the open court.
Seems to me that you had said it was going to be a sweep, Charles.
Yeah, I was wrong.
Okay, good. I just want you to say that, and I want the world to hear it.
Hey, you know, I'm not right all the time. Sometimes I'm mistaken.
I know.
But obviously, I still like Indiana to win the series. But don't get all giddy because
I'm not giddy. I'm not giddy. I just want to make sure everybody knows.
Hey, you know what? We had our little bet, our little standing bet. You were good tonight. Why don't you bet me next game?
Well, we'll see how I feel. But the reason why I said it was going to be a tough series, because I thought
4-1 is not a tough series.
I'm telling you, because Ron Artest and Jermaine O'Neal, the 2 best defenders, don't play the 2 best offensive players on defense. They don't play Dwayne Wade or Lamar Odom. So they're not matched up against them. They get to the basket like tonight, and it makes it happen. Like that.
Well, they're not going to win more than one game.
I really believe they'll win one more game.
Well, bet. Let's bet your kid.
Miami has won.
No, that's
just a boy. I don't want the girl.
What did we bet last time
Kayla.
you kissed her?
Let's just bet KG. I don't want no girl.
Ernie, you and I just go.
Miami's won
okay?
17 in a row at home. You know that, Magic?
Yeah, you know, 17 in a row. It's incredible.
Hey,
A young basketball team like
We
that.
got a
I
new
mean,
clothing line come out. Send in some ties. Send in some ties.
Send you a tie.
I don't wear ties.
Ted Turner saw your closet and wanted to colorize it. Tied up at 46.
Say it, Turner.
Back here on the Verizon Wireless halftime report, the Nets and the Lakers have something in common tomorrow night, both trying to win at home and even their series against the Pistons and the Spurs. That's our doubleheader tomorrow night right here on TNT.
The halftime report has been brought to you by Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the NBA.
Mike Bibby and the Sacramento Kings trying to take a 2-1 lead against Minnesota, but it's all tied up at the break. 46 apiece, the third quarter, just around the bend.
For the 225th time in a row, consecutive sellouts. The fans in Sacramento know how to celebrate their Kings. With Doug Collins, Kevin Harlan. That was wild. I mean, it was noisy in here. The big three for Minnesota and Sacramento both make a lot of noise. How about tonight in the first half?
Well, Minnesota has to be very happy. Sprewell, Cassell, Garnett a combined 10 of 30, and they're tied at half, so they have to feel very good about that. And when you look at Sacramento, Stojakovic and Weber combined 4 of 15. These two guys have not shot the ball well the first two games of this series. That's a concern. Mike Bibby, 3 of 4. He's got to get more active and involved. To me, he's the leader of this team. He's got to get more than 4 shots.
Head of the snake, as you call him.
He's the guy that makes him go.
Absolutely. Kevin Garnett makes the Timberwolves go. He is the only player in this game in double figures with 10.
Well, he fills up the stat sheet. I mean, he rebounds, blocks shots, scores, does all the little things. He has 10 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks, and an assist. The emotional leader. The fading jump shot over the top of Weber. Spots up and hits that little open jumper. And this guy is Mr. Energy. And I think, you know, Kevin, when you look at the stats, you know, Sacramento's outshot them by a small margin. The three-point line has gone to Minnesota. Big disparity at the free throw line, plus 7 attempts, plus 6 points. Turnovers. Magic Johnson talked about that at halftime. 8 turnovers that have given them 11 points. They've only averaged 8 turnovers in the first 2 games. And Kevin, the one thing that Sacramento knows, if this game is close in the fourth quarter, Minnesota has beaten them twice in this building in close games. Both times they've gone in down in the fourth period and they found a way to win the game.
That's what the big three has done tonight. Minnesota beat Sacramento 3 of their 4 meetings, and as Doug just said, twice in this building. But the Kings, remember, have the second best home record in the NBA in the regular year. They have not lost a playoff game this year, beating Dallas 3 times. And the Timberwolves have the #1 road record at 27-14 in the NBA's regular year.
I still believe it. You look at Stojakovic and Weber's numbers. Sacramento can win with them having a bad shooting night. They did that in game 1. Those guys combined to shoot 11 of 31. Mike Bibby had the big game at 33. He only has 4 shots. He was 4 of 17 in game 2. They need him to come out and be very, very aggressive.
And Doug, again, you always pay attention to closing out quarters for both teams. In Minnesota, 24-11 so far through the first half. It's Sprewell, Cassell, Garnett, Johnson with 3 fouls, and Hassell out there for Minnesota beginning the third quarter. Kevin Garnett from the field is 4 of 11. Christie with the rebound with Bibby, Divac, Stojakovic, and Chris Weber.
Let's see if they try to get Mike Bibby here a shot early to start this game, this third period.
It's Weber and a late arriving Irvin Johnson with a rebound inside by Latrell Sprewell, who has started the game from the floor 3 of 12 with 9 points. Garnett's 10, leading all scores.
You can see Bibby back to guarding Cassell, so he's going to try to go right in the low post against him.
Cassell, short. Minnesota led by 4 at the end of the first quarter. We were tied, of course, at halftime at 46, where we stand right now. Knocked away by Sprewell. Johnson. Here comes Sam Cassell, who had a career-high 20 points per game in the regular season. 34-year-old Cassell, and a rebound by Divac, who we think is 36. We're not certain.
Both teams off the sluggish starts here to start this period.
And here is the aforementioned Vlade Divac, who is seeing more time and is 3 of 5 with 8 points. He and Bibby share king high honors.
He's such an emotional part of this team. He's the leader in that locker room. Mike Bibby, to me, is the guy who makes them go on the floor. But such respect for Vlade from his teammates.
Hassell and Christie with the later rocking defensive stand on Hassell, who continues just to shoot the ball so well in the postseason. He's about 9 points over his regular season average in scoring in this playoffs this year.
Kevin, he knows he's getting the shots because they're rotating off him to try to cover up the other players. And he's worked very hard, and there's no hesitation in his shot.
Stojakovic to Weber and back to Peja, who tonight is 2 of 9. Doug Christie. And a rebound by Kevin Garnett, who has his 9th with his 10 points. Cassell wide open tonight. Christie fell, and that opened it up.
Well, Doug Christie, remember, picked up 2 early fouls, so he's not guarding Cassell right now. That time he picked him up in the open floor. Dick Bavetta did not go for that little flop.
How do you like the Sprewell coverage on Bibby in the last 2 games? He almost had a steal right there. He kicked it.
Well, I like it because he's a bigger, stronger body, and when he gets screened, he keeps playing through the screens, and Mike Bibby knows he's coming.
That's a good point. Cheryl, what do you have?
It's interesting. Coach Saunders thought that his team played pretty well in the first half, did some positive things, and defensively was pretty solid. He said second half, obviously, this is a Sacramento team that can go on runs and drive. Doug Christie possibly get a 3-point play, but he said this is a Sacramento team that can either go on runs and droughts. If they go on the runs, we have to find a way to contain them. If they have any droughts, we got to make some runs, guys.
Cassell picks up the foul.
Well, you know, Cheryl, the way you do that in a crowd like this with a team that goes on runs is you use your timeouts to be able to try to calm the crowd down, to get a play, to come out on the floor, get your team a basket, and you depend on your execution, and you try not to turn the ball over. And Minnesota's doing a nice job taking care of the ball tonight. They only have 3 turnovers.
Christie's on Sprewell. Johnson with a little screen and a rebound by the Kings, who are +9 in rebounding tonight. Knocked away by Kevin Garnett. And a foul.
Miscommunication there in the open court. Irvin Johnson, normally playing against Vlade Divac, did not get back. Kevin Garnett tried to get to him. This will be once again getting to that free throw line, Kevin, and Sacramento is doing a much better job getting there than Minnesota.
Divac tonight 2 of 3. Kings have taken 14 free throws, and the Timberwolves have taken 6. And Vlade at the stripe. Wednesday night, Miami will take on Indiana. Sacramento against Minnesota. Those are on ESPN. Thursday night on ABC. It's Game 5 of LA and San Antonio. Of course, you'll see Game 4 tomorrow here on TNT.
I tell you, for a young team, that Miami team has got a lot of heart. 17 straight wins now at home. They're struggling on the road in the playoffs, but at home they have been very, very tough.
40% shooting from the floor for Minnesota. Stojakovic sticking on Sprewell. Garnett to Cassell and a 3 for Sam. And over the backboard hit the clock. It's Sacramento's ball. Turnovers in this game. Minnesota's got 3 and Kings have 9.
And again, you know, Kevin, Minnesota's a team that in the regular season, they were second in fewest turnovers. Yeah. They averaged under 13 turnovers, over 23 assists. They do a good job of moving the basketball, and they're a very good shooting team. And in the playoffs, they've turned it over uncharacteristically.
Kings are shooting 42%. Rebound by Sprewell. Trenton Hassell, he was free to fire.
Well, see, what happened is Stojakovic felt like he was knocked down on the shot, so they were playing 4-on-5 defensively. Hassell normally guarded by Stojakovic. Nobody picked him up.
Bibby is 3 of 5, and Weber is 2 of 7. And applying the defense right there. Hassell's watching Stojakovic on the baseline. Christie will now duck inside. Weber with Garnett slipping, and that gave him nothing in front to Garnett. Again, he just hit from there. Christie late with the defense, and again he knocks it down.
It's like playing horse out there. There's nobody guarding him, but again, the commitment that Sacramento has made is to rotate up and take Garnett and Cassell out of the game, and he's the beneficiary.
Doug Christie. You know, Doug Christie with Bobby Jackson gone is certainly now becoming the emotional leader of this team.
But Doug Christie very upset. He feels like he's been hit on the arm on every shot. He was barking at referee Jimmy Clark during that possession.
And Cassell being hounded, and a knocked away by Christie, and Chris Weber at the other end.
Chris Webber almost could not get to that ball. They led him so much on that play. Chris Webber almost looked back and said, hey, that was 3 years ago I could run like that. Don't throw that pass so far.
Minnesota will take a timeout. The Kings tied with the Timberwolves at halftime have opened up a 4-point lead, and Doug Christie has a Kings high and a game high 12 points. He wears his emotions on his face and on his jersey, but he leads them emotionally in this series, which is tied at 1 apiece. The 2004 NBA playoffs on TNT tonight being brought to you by Jeep. The most respected, honored, and heroic 4x4 out there, only in a Jeep. And by Wendy's new Chicken Temptations. It's better here. Boy, and they do love their Kings here in Sacramento. Kings have led by 5. Timberwolves have led by 8. We've had 6 lead changes and 15 ties in this game.
Well, let's talk about 2 of the critical guys for Minnesota, especially in this playoff series. Wally Szczerbiak being injured. Trenton Hassell, we know he's been a defender, but stepping forward in game 1, he had 17 points and 5 rebounds, knocking in the open shot. And then Freddie Hoiberg in game 2, he had that 8-point spurt in the second period that gave his team a little distance. Hit 2 free throws late that were critical. They'll spot up 3. That's a career playoff high of 13 points. And you can see tonight what they've done. 16 points on 7 of 11 shooting. And I was just thinking about what John Paxson must be thinking. Fred Hoiberg, Trenton Hassell, about Elton Brand, Brad Miller, and Ron Artest. Those guys should all be Chicago Bulls right now. Can you imagine?
No, I can't. That is amazing. As Cassell slips it to the double team, Garnett, who looked one way and fed Urban Johnson the other. And Johnson now has 8 points, 2 rebounds. And he was fouled by Chris Webber on the play, who is tagged with his second.
Well, if you're going to foul, you got to foul him so he can't make the basket. This is one of those little touch fouls by Webber. And you got to make the foul. Urban Johnson's not a great free throw shooter, so you got to make him step up and make 2 free throws. Now he has the opportunity for the 3-point play.
So Urban Johnson with 9, a couple players with 10 lead the Wolves, Garnett and Hassell. And 12 by Christie is a game high. And here is that scoring leader, Doug Christie, looking inside for the double team. Webber back to Christie.
This guy is really shooting the ball well. He's made some big shots for them. Game 1, when they won on the road, he and Mike Bibby combined for 46 points. Christie, remember, hit the big 3 late in that game to sort of seal the deal.
Cassell, Latrell Sprewell, and Stojakovic late with his defense. As Spree now has a Minnesota high 11.
I think Minnesota's whole thing is just stay close. If the game is close, we think we can beat you here in the 4th quarter.
Kings have hit 2 threes. Stojakovic launching one right now, and so 2 of 9. The Kings are above the arc. Minnesota is 4 of 12.
Stojakovic 2 of 11 for the game, now 1 of 6 at the 3-point line. He is not shooting the ball well at all in this series.
And here comes Hassell. He played at Austin Peay with Cassell trying to free himself from Bibby. Rebound by Webber. He's got 4 rebounds and 9 points, with Mike Bibby having 8 points and 6 assists the other way. And a foul is called inside, and down on all 4s was Latrell Sprewell. What did it mean, Doug, for the Timberwolves that it was not Kevin Garnett for Flip Saunders at the end of the game that won game 2, but rather it was somebody else grabbing the headlines? You always think about the MVP Garnett, but in that game it was Cassell in game 2.
Well, you know, they brought Cassell in to make the big shots. Kevin Garnett does everything else. He rebounds, he defends, he assists. You know, I think people expect him to score all the time. Christie once again spotting up. He's got the hot hand. But Kevin Garnett doesn't have to beat you necessarily with points. I mean, we saw Ben Wallace last night put on some kind of show with like 24 rebounds and 15 points. And without him, Larry Brown said Detroit would have lost by 50 last night.
It's Garnett with the double-double, 10 points and 10 rebounds against Divac, and count it for 2 and a foul on Vlade Divac, who has that look on his face after the big ticket. The MVP takes it in and brings the Timberwolves to within 1.
Well, before that shot, he and Sprewell were combined 8 for 25, just hangs in the air. And the importance of having big hands. I've always said, you know, Michael Jordan, one of the things he had those huge hands. He could hold that ball out in one hand, create space, and at the last moment go up and take that shot. You saw Garnett that time just hang in the air with one hand. It's 2 3-point plays now we've seen on touch fouls by the Kings.
Garnett 3 of 3 from the line and 19 of 21 in the series from the free throw line. Bibby pass to Weber. Garnett got in there with the block. He's now got 4. He's got 10 in the last 2 games. Sam Cassell. And there is Weber.
I think Bibby's got to start looking for a shot. He's looking to pass so much right now. Christie does have the hot hand.
And a rebound by Kevin Garnett, taken away by Doug Christie. He's got the momentum. Devos back to Christie inside. But Garnett was there. Knocked away by Irvin Johnson. A deflection by Garnett with the shot clock resting at 10. Here's Bibby. He's only 3 of 6. Foul on Mike Bibby.
Sprewell's done a nice job. He's kept his body in front of him. Kevin, we talked about he's a bigger player that he has to shoot over. And more importantly, when he gets screened, he doesn't stop playing. Very difficult to play screen roll with Kevin Garnett. This is Mike Bibby's 3rd foul. But Garnett is so good at playing the screen roll. You saw Sprewell jump to the one side. And right now he's done a nice job of keeping Mike Bibby in front of him and not letting him break down the defense.
And you talk about that adjustment from game 1 to game 2 as Sprewell gives you, as you mentioned, that extra length. And then you were telling before, when they switch then, he still has a big body on him.
Well, what happens if they want to switch the screen roll, Garnett can jump out and play him, and Sprewell's big enough to slide down there in front, one of the bigger players. So, you know, it's helped them either if they want to switch or if they want to trap the pick and roll. Good numbers on the big 3 for each team tonight.
Here's Irvin Johnson to Kevin Garnett with 13 points. Trenton Hassell has 10. Known for his defense, but he's been very offensive-minded in this series. Miller's in the game for Sacramento. It's Sprewell. Good fake on Stojakovic with a jab and a drop. Kevin Garnett. And the Timberwolves by 2. They've led by 8.
Poise right now, Sacramento getting a little bit rattled here. A couple bad calls. They see Garnett jumping out. Pick up the foul against Bibby. But this is where you have to show poise. The offensive rebound. Sprewell looks like he's trying to guide this shot. That's that little medium range shot. But Garnett just cleans up the offensive rebound. Rick Adams was saying, look, we're not going to get up on these offensive boards, get on these defensive backboards. We can't give up second shots.
Well, we got a story now because Garnett's got 4 fouls as the Kings fans have thrown things on the floor for the second time tonight, I might add. And Gary Trent comes in the game with Hoiberg for Minnesota.
You know, I've been here a lot. This is a crowd that's very loud. I've never really seen this crowd throw things on the floor like this. It's a very, very good crowd, very noisy, but all it takes is one person up there with too much to drink to throw something out on the court that ruins it for everybody. Let's write this down, Kevin. 3:47 to go. Minnesota with a 2-point lead. Can they hang tough? You got Garnett on the bench with fouls, and you're resting Sam Cassell right now. Can Sacramento make a push?
There's Cassell. He is 4 of 14 with 9 points. Free throw shooting tonight, and that was an interesting facet because of the great number of attempts that the Kings are putting over the Timberwolves. Tonight they're +8 for the series, +30 in terms of free throw attempts. A wide open Weber, Johnson late. And Stojakovic had it taken away by Hassell of Minnesota with 3.5 to play in the 3rd. And Sprewell. Bibby guarding him, but not very well.
Now Sprewell really is looking to shoot the ball tonight. That's 16 attempts already. We just passed the midway point of the 3rd period.
It's Bibby, and Christie's got the hot hand, especially here in the 3rd. And Mike Bibby, Sprewell in the defense. Hoiberg with the rebound. By the way, one more note on Garnett. He is the only player in the game with 4 fouls right now. Hoiberg, another 3 by Fred Hoiberg, who comes off the bench tonight, and he has gone 3 of 4 from above the arc as Weber drives, and Hoiberg hits the deck as Minnesota is riding a 10-0 run.
Boy, Freddie Hoiberg, how impressive is he? You give him an open shot, he's knocking him down. The most important thing, his team has such confidence in him right now. When you can bring a guy like that in who hits the shot and plays defense, what a weapon.
Welcome back to ARCO Arena, where Minnesota has a 7-point lead over Sacramento. It's a good look at Wally Szczerbiak, who hasn't played since Game 3 loss at Denver in the first round after fracturing 3 bones in the small of his back today. This was him at shoot-around, and Wally told me that he is feeling much better. He's running, he's jumping. He said if it was left of him, he would definitely play in Game 5 back in Minnesota. What was interesting, guys, he did tell me that he has the same injury as Vikings quarterback Dante Culpepper, but he said Culpepper might have been able to come back sooner because he's a quarterback. He stays in the pocket, and he was able to wear protection like a flak jacket. He said he doesn't really have that option because he doesn't want it to really restrict his movements. Guys?
Yeah, he's big like old Dante is for the Minnesota Vikings. The interesting thing is it's Hoiberg taking the place of Szczerbiak, who missed a lot of time in the regular season, has missed time in the postseason. And for Hoiberg, think about this, the kind of people he has guarded in these playoffs. 5'5" Earl Boykins at Denver, all the way to 6'10" Peja Stojakovic with the Sacramento Kings.
Well, that's why you're a valuable player. You can play multiple positions, and more importantly, your teammates trust you. This guy was recruited to go to Nebraska to play football. Yes. This is a tough guy. And so his teammates believe he's bringing the ball up the floor now.
So it's Hoiberg, Gary Trent, Johnson, Hassell, and Sprewell, almost a steal by Christie. Shot clock is at 10. Hoiberg, who's knocked in 3 from above the arc. And Hassell, again, Hassell comes up with a big shot. He is 7 of 10, and he has hit his last 5 shots from the floor. It's Stojakovic who's been struggling and continues that way, 2 of 12, but gets his own miss and kicks it out to Bibby. He's 3 of 7. Rebound by Miller, an offensive board there. And Christie for 3, fouled by Trent. And Christie to the line.
Flip Saunders got to be going, what are you doing fouling a three-point shooter? These are things that turn games around. Now you got a chance to step up, cut a 7-point lead to 4. Christie, normally a very good free throw shooter. I know he missed a 2 at the end of the game the other night, but normally he shoots about 87%. So you would expect him to step up and knock these free throws in.
And Christie hits that. 4 of 4, make it 5 of 5, 17 points. Get an all-access look at the NBA playoffs. Tune in to the NBA TV playoff show, Destination Finals, every weeknight, 6 o'clock, only on NBA TV.
Kevin, you look at the numbers here for Sacramento. Peja Stojakovic is 2 of 12. Weber is 4 of 11. Those two guys 6 of 23. Bibby is 3 of 8.
Wow.
And he only has 8 points. And it's sort of amazing to look up, and they're only down 4 points. Now remember, Minnesota has stretched this lead out with Kevin Garnett sitting down with 4 fouls and Sam Cassell resting so he can finish the 4th quarter.
Bibby is on Hoiberg. They got Anthony Peeler in the game. A screen by Trent opening up Sprewell's shot, and Spree has gone 6 of 17 for 15.
Well, he got off to a slow start. Remember, he was 1 of 9, so he's picked it up at 5 of his last 8.
Johnson with 3 fouls, guarding Chris Webber, who is 4 of 11. Nice pass inside. That is the beauty of Chris Webber's game, the ability with that soft pass to hold it and snap it to open cutters.
You got to keep moving, though, when he gets the ball. You can't stand. Sometimes the Kings stand and watch him.
Christie's got 14 in the quarter and a game-high 21. Nice fake, a little jab by Hoiberg. Count it. Well, hold on. Foul was called. As Bibby will pick it up. And that's the 4th on Mike Bibby.
Fred Hoiberg with a nice job. He's been hitting every shot out there, so when he shows the ball, you got to get out to him. Bibby with his 4th foul, so fouls starting to mount up for both teams. Stojakovic is going to come back in the game, see if he gets Bibby out here.
Basket did not count from Fred Hoiberg. Stojakovic back in. There goes Mike Bibby. So he has 4, Garnett has 4, and both are on the bench.
Goodness gracious. Trenton Hassell. He's playing possessed. And this is how you win playoff series. You have a guy like that come through for you when some of your guys are struggling.
He's got 10, Doug, in this third quarter and 14 in the game. Nice steal. 3-on-2 led by Sprewell, and he goes by Miller. And the Timberwolves lead it 77-69. They equal their biggest lead. Spree's put in 8 points.
It was a 2-point game when Garnett left. They've increased the lead by 6.
That's 8 points in this quarter and 17 for the game for Sprewell. Weber. Wow. Turnover number 12 for the Kings and 4. Only 4 for Minnesota.
That's where they get themselves in trouble. They throw the ball to Weber and they stand around and watch him play. You got to get him up and you got to start moving the basketball, cutting and slashing. And right now they've gotten themselves into a rut again, and Minnesota's taking advantage of it.
And no fouls to give either way, with Sprewell working on Miller. And Gary Trent then is going to the odd guy out, left free, and he has to dig his way inside and comes up with a huge shot. And the Timberwolves have their biggest lead tonight. When they get scoring from guys like Gary Trent, you know things are really cooking.
You just look at the guys who filled in off the bench for them. Christie's going to get a charge here.
Because, Doug, you said when Garnett goes out with his 4th personal foul at 3:47, Minnesota led by 2. Now they're up by 10.
And Cassell's been resting this whole time, and he's their Mr. Fourth Quarter.
Yep.
And we've talked about, here's something else thrown out onto the floor. You know, it's interesting, but Sacramento, I think what these fans are thinking about, the heartbreak that this team has caused them over the last few playoff series. It seems like they get so close, and whether it be a Robert Horry 3 or a Chris Webber, knee injury, something happens, and right now they're down 10. They have to regroup. They have to get themselves over here. Minnesota, a very, very confident team.
Minnesota has won both regular season games here. Trenton Hassell authors a 10-point third quarter. The Kings led by 3 halfway through that third. Minnesota closes on a 20-7 run, and they lead by 10, their biggest lead tonight in Game 3 of this Western Conference Semifinal. Unfortunately for the Sacramento Kings, it's been one disappointment after another. The Kobe Bryant shot right there. Robert Horry coming up big. Eventually knocked out of the Western Conference Finals. Last year against Dallas in Game 2, Chris Webber injury. So, Doug, we have seen a succession of these series-altering type things that have happened to this franchise, and the Maloof brothers, who own this team, watched in Game 2 a dissipation of a 10-point lead with 4:11 to play. Any residuals of that lingering tonight in Game 3?
Well, you know what's interesting? I was watching that game at home, and I saw with 4:11 to go, Minnesota was walking off that floor, and the look on their face is like, we're going to go down here 0-2. In the strong finish, and they've come out here with a lot of poise. We'll see if they can hold on, and we'll see if Sacramento has a way to find out to get back into this game.
Timberwolves had 33 points in that third quarter as Miller misses, and Trent grabs onto it. A 33-point third quarter for Minnesota. Highest scoring for the postseason for them, and there you see how they've closed out quarters in the game tonight.
That adds up to 44-18. That's plus 26 at the end of quarters.
Minnesota is at 8 of their last 9. Sprewell makes it 9 of 10, as Spree has put in a Timberwolves high 19 points.
And all this with Garnett and Cassell sitting.
And of course, this is lingering from what they did the other night in Game 2, an outside shot going in. And Stojakovic hit, but it meant so much to the Timberwolves to have someone other than Garnett win the game. Will that be the same case the very next game, Game 3? It's Sprewell, who I don't know if he wanted to pass or not, but it was loose, and Trent vacuums it in, and Miller has a hard foul inside on Gary Trent, who is slow to get up.
You see, when you're struggling, it looked like Sacramento had a steal there. They started, and it went off the foot. Now watch this. It looks like Sacramento's ball. Look who ends up with 2 guys go together. The ball kicks loose, and look, Trent standing underneath the basket to get the 2 free throws. Those are things that are happening when things seem to be working against you. You got to play through those, Kevin. You can't hang your head. You got to keep fighting, but you got to do it on the defensive end. And right now, Sacramento, this is the worst defensive game they've played in a long time. They have been pretty good defensively. over the last 3 or 4 games.
Gary Trent, the first time he has been to the free throw line in this Sacramento series for the Timberwolves, who have led by 12. The Kings have led as many as 5. This will be the 9th free throw for Minnesota. Now they are 6 of 9. Sacramento 17 of 21 from the line for the game. It's Trent out there with Hassell, Johnson, Hoiberg, and Sprewell. That's the Minnesota 5. It's Peeler and Bibby in the Kings backcourt with Miller, Stojakovic, and Weber.
I still say if they're going to get back in this game, there's a big break. Trent missed them both. Mike Bibby. Can Mike Bibby find a way to shake himself loose from Sprewell, who's done a terrific job?
2 regular season wins in this building for the Timberwolves, the second hardest building to win in the regular season. And inside, pulling the trigger, was Brad Miller off the bench with 8 points and 5 rebounds.
Now, Flip's going to have to use his timeouts very wisely here. He cannot let this crowd get in it. He cannot let Sacramento get on any runs. When will we see Garnett and Cassell?
And on the road, timeouts is how you control the game.
Absolutely. Get your timeout set up to play.
Trent the screen on Bibby, and Sprewell is fouled, and Bibby picks up number 5.
This is what the Big 3 have done in the 4th quarters in this series. Cassell has been terrific. He's 8 of 15. Sprewell and Garnett have combined 2 of 13. So Cassell has been the guy who's made the big shots. We saw it the other night. He had 9 at the end of 3 quarters, had 10 in the 4th, finished with 19, all the big shots. Mike Bibby, though, with a very costly foul, shooting a jump shooter. Sprewell's going to go to the line here for 2.
Minnesota led by 4 at the end of 1. We were tied at halftime. A 10-point lead for the Wolves coming to the 4th. They lead it now 81-73. Right now, let's take a look at our Gatorade X factor of the game. And playoffs-wide, coast to coast, influenced the most by point guards.
Well, Mike Bibby has been the source of concern after the big game 1. He had a tremendous series against Dallas. They've locked in on him the last couple games, and Sprewell's done a terrific job. He keeps his body in front of him, draws the charge, forcing him to take some tough shots. And look what's happened in these games here that you've seen the changes in. Game 1, Mike Bibby with 33. Sprewell guards him in game 2. He has 10 tonight. They've made that change. How about the Tony Parker, the great 2 games, and in the game 3, the Lakers really swarmed him. He scored 8. And how about Chauncey Billups last night? They move over Kerry Kittles to play him. He goes from 28 to 2. So it's interesting. It's sort of been the playoffs of the point guards and how it's changed series. Tonight, Dwayne Wade had a great 4th quarter. Remember the 2 game-winning shots he hit in the New Orleans series in games 1 and in games 5. But the point guards have been the stories here in the playoffs.
Well, Bibby had his last field goal come with about a minute left in the first half. Scoreless here in the second half. And with a meager 8 points and 6 assists, that has hurt the Kings tonight. They got Christie playing the point. Peeler has come in as the 2. And here's Stojakovic, a poor shooting 3 of 13. Miller is 4 of 7, now 4 of 8. Sprewell, who had 37 in this building earlier in the regular season, leads Minnesota with 21. Hoiberg has knocked in 3 above the arc.
See, Minnesota now does not have a point guard on the floor. They're playing with Sprewell, Hoiberg, and Cassell. They're going with a defensive team with the lead here.
And Mark Madsen has come in, and Miller has the loose ball.
Come on, Rap!
Stojakovic, there's a whistle and a foul. And they call this on Anthony Peeler for the 2nd time.
How about this, though? Sam Cassell been sitting on this bench this entire time. Flip Saunders now going again with Trenton Hassell, Sprewell, and Hoiberg on the perimeter. It's their better defensive team, and with a lead, he's going defense right now.
Here's Spree, 8 of 19, 6 rebounds and 4 assists. And out to Hassell, who goes into Miller and slashes his way inside. Madsen couldn't get it. But did draw the foul as he was tangling with Weber underneath.
Now, in the Denver series, Madsen and Garnett played very, very well together. We saw it also in game 1. Madsen came in, and you can see, instead of going with Olowokandi, Flip Saunders tonight is going with Mark Madsen.
Here comes Sam Cassell at the 9:25 mark, and Trenton Hassell will leave. So now that true point is back out on the floor. The Timberwolves are shooting 48% from the floor in the game. The Kings, 42%. Wolves have been averaging about 45% from the field. And tonight, definitely out shooting Sacramento. Peeler looking for Miller and a foul. And Cassell, who just got off the bench, picks up the foul.
going to be a very interesting 9 minutes here for Sacramento.
In a variety of ways.
In a variety of ways to see what they can do at the end of this game.
Weber short. Hoiberg with the rebound. Rebounding tonight. Minnesota is -8.
7 for 25 now for Stojakovic and Weber.
That's what they've been riding. Hoiberg, great screen by Lewis. Hoiberg knocks down his 4th. A disgusted Kings general manager Jeff Petrie has watched his team fall behind by their largest deficit tonight, 13 points. Approaching 8.5 to play in the game. Miller and Peeler with the Miller screen on Cassell and a rebound by Madsen, who comes off that bench and brings hustle and energy.
Well, that's why they signed him. That's why Kevin McHale went out and got him. He said, I need somebody who's going to come in here, throw himself around, play with energy. When he doesn't play, be a team guy.
Here's Kevin Garnett with 15 points. Hoiberg for 3 again. He's knocked off balance, nothing called, and here comes Christie. He has 21 along with Cassell's defense. Miss right there. Rebound by Christie.
Everything's a quick jump shot for Sacramento right now, Kevin. The first guy who's getting it's letting it go. Mike Bibby's checking into the game here. I'm sure that Rick Adelman's saying, look, I can't go any longer. I'm down 13. Doesn't do me any good having him sitting over here with 5 fouls, because by the time I put him back in the game, it's going to be too late. But all jump shots right now for Sacramento, nothing going to the basket. They've got to find a way. Now, Minnesota's whole thing is take away Sacramento's layups. That's their whole game plan. That's like 3 fouls in a row on Cassell. Is it like about a minute something?
And now he's got 4. He just came off the bench, and now he's got 4 fouls as Sacramento is trying to concoct something on offense. They've missed their last 4 shots. And Sam with a smile on his face. Stojakovic lost it. Garnett has it. Turnover number 15 for the Kings. And Sprewell banged by Miller at the other end. And Spree will go to the line. And Brad Miller is hit with his 2nd foul tonight. Stojakovic, and we saw this in the Dallas series. Struggling from the field tonight, 9 points compared with the regular season average of 24 points.
Well, going into the game tonight, his numbers against his team, he was 13 of 36, 2 of 9 from the 3-point line. And they have swarmed him tonight. They've had a hand in his face. Hassell, Hoiberg, whoever's guarding him, got a hand in his face. And remember, we were in here the last game, like it was April 8th, when Minnesota won in here to really help seal the best record in the West. I asked Flip Saunders, when you play Sacramento, what do you try to do? They're such a great shooting team. He said, we try to take away their layups. If they beat a shooting jump shot, so be it. And if you look at it tonight, they've taken away all their layups and their easy baskets, making them a jump shooting team.
So the Kings with it, facing their largest deficit of the series, Mike Bibby. And Garnett volleyballs it over to Madsen. Here comes Sam Cassell. The Timberwolves are on a 7-0 run. Sprewell has been the key with a deft move on Christie and knocked out of bounds, and 15 on the shot clock. Sprewell with a game-high 23 points. I mentioned earlier he had 37 in this building back in December.
Well, he got off to a slow start, but the thing I love, how about his energy?
Yeah.
That's a guy who's well into his 30s. He's been guarding Mike Bibby the whole time. He's guarded Stojakovic some. Look at the energy he has playing offense.
Rebound by Weber. Sprewell's only been averaging 10 points in this series. But tonight, like we said, 23, and here comes Bibby. Sacramento has not hit from the field in over 3 minutes. Away from the ball, Cassell and Christie.
Is that another foul on Cassell?
Oh.
I mean, that's like 4 fouls in how many minutes? Like 2+ minutes.
He just came off the bench. He's now got 5. And that's going to bring Trenton Hassell off the Minnesota bench.
But he's committed 4 of them here. He's going to get Sacramento in the penalty by himself. Looks to me like they're shooting free throws. This could be really critical here.
In a minute, 57 seconds, he picked up 4 fouls.
Well, Kevin, more importantly, 7:22 to go. Sacramento has been struggling to score. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to shoot free throws the rest of the quarter. They can get themselves back in the game here, but what are they trying to do? They run him down on the block. Picked up 3 fouls down there trying to guard Christie on the post. You see Jerry Seasting with his arm around Sam Cassell, trying to calm him down a little bit. Sam very emotional.
Well, he had 40 in game 1, he had 19, and all those great 8 points in the last couple minutes in game 2 to win it for Minnesota. Tonight, Sprewell has taken that place, and here comes Garnett.
Garnett becomes their point guard now with this team on the floor.
Sheds Miller, drives inside, Kevin Garnett. And Minnesota's got their biggest lead of the series and, of course, the game at 15.
Minnesota's playing in another gear. It's like they're playing at 78 and Sacramento's at 45, maybe 33 right now.
Weber trying to shift gears inside. He's in a straitjacket with Madsen and Garnett. As Kevin Garnett has put in tonight 17 points and grabbed 12 rebounds and an authoritative move right there. You know, all season long you've talked about the San Antonio Spurs, the constant being Tim Duncan, but it's always been a player or two that adds to a San Antonio win like Parker or Malik Rose or Turkoglu or Bowen or whoever. Well, that's kind of the same story in some ways with Minnesota, especially as these playoffs have evolved.
Well, the one thing you know, you're going to get Kevin Garnett. He's going to give you probably before the game's over 20-plus points. He's going to give you somewhere 15 to 16 rebounds. He's going to block 2 or 3 shots. But what they've done is they've added to this team is they've added a big game shooter in Sam Cassell. And so he's taken the pressure off Garnett to be doesn't have to be the guy to make the big shots. Sprewell will take big shots. When you look at this right now, the difference is Hoiberg and Hassell, what they have brought to this team in the playoffs really has changed the whole face of this team, especially with Szczerbiak being injured.
Absolutely, and Hoiberger's done a great job taking the place of Szczerbiak, and Hoiberg's got the ball, and he's knocked in 4 threes tonight. Miller trying to dance with Garnett. That's tough because when Kevin kicks up his heels, baby, it is tough to dance the same Watusi down low.
Well, you know, the fact that he missed 5.5 minutes of that period with fouls, he's rested now. He's ready to finish this quarter.
Bibby and Weber. And Chris Weber has 15 points in the game. Christie's got a Kings high 23, and Sprewell's got a Timberwolves high 23.
See, Garnett bringing the ball up the floor. Weber can't pressure him, so he'll initiate their offense. Go right in the post.
Halfway through the 4th. Sprewell for 3. And look at the hustle of Hassell. And here come the Kings with Bibby. You know they got a run left in them someplace. Will Bibby ignite it, or will Stojakovic ignite it?
Got to get a timeout here. Good call by Flip Saunders. Sacramento's such an explosive team. They can go on droughts, but they can also go on big runs. It's a 10-point game, still almost half the quarter left. Mike Bibby with a penetration, and Sacramento waiting for Stojakovic to make some of these shots. He buries it. They're still alive.
Tonight from Sacramento, the 2004 NBA playoffs on TNT are being brought to you by Sky Sport. The new low-carb, ultra-premium malt beverage with the taste of citrus and cranberry. By Hyundai, visit NBA.com and enter to win a new Hyundai Santa Fe. By Goodyear Assurance, featuring triple tread technology. And by the new Sprite Remix Berry Clear. It's time now for Fast on Their Feet, presented by Lamisil.
Well, who better to show us than Kevin Garnett? He's fresh. He got a rest on the bench, 5.5 minutes with the fouls. A little whirling dervish jumper over the top of Brad Miller. Brad Miller cannot handle that kind of quickness. Sacramento's cut the lead to 10. But interesting, as I look at the stat sheet, Kevin, Hassell and Hoiberg have shot 11 for 17 tonight. They have 26 points. Weber and Stojakovic, 9 of 28 for 27 points. So 2 of the best scorers for Sacramento are being matched and outshot by Hassell and Hoiberg.
And you can see Minnesota winning the battle in the paint. They've gotten 13 off of turnovers, more than Sacramento, and they have watched the Kings from the free throw line shoot 11 more times and have the advantage there in terms of made free throws, but that has not deterred the Wolves, who have led by as many as 15 and trailed by as many as 5.
Now, normally if Cassell was in the game, they would go to him here. Let's see if they try to free up Garnett.
And here's Fred Hoiberg as Garnett trying to set a screen. Weber is on Kevin Garnett. Blows by him and glides in with ease.
That was easy.
Kevin Garnett's got 6 in the quarter and 21 for the game and playing with 4 fouls. Stojakovic across the lane. Madsen got a hand on the ball. And Hassell trying to throw it. And Madsen gets it back. And here comes Sprewell with the Minnesota high 23.
Again, Kevin Garnett is going to run the team.
The Timberwolves have hit 6 threes, and the Kings have hit 3 above the arc tonight.
It's a difference of 9 points.
KG over late arriving Christie, and an offensive rebound by Trenton Hassell. Minnesota is well behind, minus Oh, -7 offensive rebounds tonight.
Well, second shots normally lead to points, and you're going to see Hoiberg here. More importantly, you get burned more clock. So you use clock, you get an offensive rebound, you use some more, and you get to the free throw line. Kevin Garnett, again, the quickness. Weber cannot cover him out here. Somebody's got to come over and guard the basket. You see Trenton Hassell did a great job. He sealed Brad Miller underneath the basket so no one could defend the shot. So nice play there by Hassell off the basketball as Garnett just went right to the front of the rim.
Hoiberg has not missed a free throw in the playoffs, which continue tomorrow night on TNT as the Nets take on the Pistons. Game 4, Lakers and Spurs tomorrow, TNT. 8 o'clock will be the coverage. Then Friday, a pair of Game 5 starting at 7 o'clock. New Jersey playing Detroit, Sacramento, Minnesota. That is on TNT. Inside, Mike Bibby. He's got 10 with 8 assists, his first points of the second half. Sprewell, Manson, when Mark Manson gets that kind of shot away, you know things are rolling in the Timberwolves by 14 points.
You should have seen the assistant coaches from Minnesota when he did. I was watching their bench.
Mike Bibby with the left hand off the glass and down.
Well, Minnesota cannot relax because we know Sacramento can put points on the board. They're capable of running off 10 or 12 points in a hurry. Mike Bibby, you know what? I'm going to take this game into my own hands here. I've been in foul trouble. I've been, struggling to get off offensively. 5 quick points, but now they've got to do it with some defense. They have got to get some defensive stops.
Cassell, Madsen, Hoiberg, Sprewell, and Garnett playing the point at 7 foot plus. And Weber is on Garnett. Will we give him any help here defensively? Nope. Kevin Garnett schools him inside.
Well, so much for Kevin Garnett not scoring only but one basket here in the 4th period in the 2 games. That's not the case tonight.
Bibby across the lane with Miller, Christie, Weber, and Stojakovic. Cassell.
This crowd is stunned right now. I'm telling you, it all started the other night. That last 4 minutes and 11 seconds is haunting this team right now. Okay, you give a team an extra chance to come off the mat.
Nice rejection by Bibby.
How about the presence of mind there by Hoiberg? Now they got another 24 seconds. Now they can burn 48 seconds on this possession.
The offensive rebound still heavily favoring the Sacramento Kings. There's Sprewell and an open Trenton Hassell. Rare miss for him and a rebound by Brad Miller, who's now got 7 with 8 points. Here comes Bibby, 13 points, 5 of 12. Chris Weber, 5 of 14. And Garnett, boy, just tapped it beautifully to himself.
What's Chris Weber doing shooting a 3 out there? I mean, it's almost 3 minutes to go in the game. That's a giveaway shot when you take that shot.
You sound like John Thompson. John Thompson would drive him crazy about Weber's game.
I mean, you're in the penalty. You're in the penalty. Get to the free throw line. Stop the clock.
Mark Manson, an unlikely source of energy offensively. He does it on the defensive end, but this time is up with the sledgehammer, and that's what the Timberwolves are delivering to the Kings on their home court in Sacramento in Game 3.
If you could do it all over again, would you?
You got old razors, Rogaine. You use Rogaine? I didn't know you.
It's preventative.
But is your hair falling?
I don't want to talk about it!
In a New York minute.
Minnesota's played with that kind of urgency tonight. 187 they lead right now. And one of the main storylines coming in tonight with the hangover of losing a 10-point lead with about 4 to play in Game 2. Linger on to tonight. It looks like it has.
Well, you got to give Kevin. You got to give Minnesota a lot of credit. They came in and got off to a great start. They had a lot of poise, but I thought from the start this crowd was somewhat subdued. And you know what? They've had their heart broken by this team about 3 straight years in the playoffs. And you look at the numbers. I mean, Weber and Stojakovic tonight have combined 9 of 30. Hassell and Hoiberg 11 for 20. They've gotten production from Madsen off the bench, from Irvin Johnson. And Cassell's had a very quiet game, and this guy Kevin Garnett has been good.
Slippin calls a timeout, and he got it away. Kevin Garnett alertly just lost his footing. He's an MVP, not yet 28 years of age, with a very heady play, a tremendous presence of mind. As we're seeing something that you rarely see in Sacramento. This is one of the best venues in the league but fearing dread as their team could fall behind 2-1 in this best-of-7 Western Conference Semifinal. Timeout. Timeout as Sam Cassell is talking with some of his teammates, especially the guys that are taking his place right now. Manson's been great. Trent Hoiberg has been terrific. As Trenton Hassell also has shown some offense. And Hassell tonight, 7 of 12, 14 points, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds. And Hoiberg has knocked in 4 above the arc and put in a career playoff high 14 points. Kevin Garnett with 23 and 14. And Sprewell.
Another offensive rebound. They took that shot at 3 on the clock. So it's another time they can burn almost 48 seconds because of walk. Sprewell trying to go so fast.
5 turnovers. Only 5 for the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight. That's a terrific number.
Especially when they've been turning it over almost 16 times a game in the playoffs.
They had 13 more turnovers coming into tonight than did the Kings, who had 15 turnovers tonight. So now for the series, only -3 in that category. Weber's got 15. Stojakovic a dismal 4 of 15. And Bibby has gone 5 of 12. Peja Stojakovic left open. And he's got 14 points with 2 minutes to play.
Now, if you're Minnesota, the one thing you don't want to do is allow Sacramento to have anything good happen in this last 2 minutes. You don't want to put them in a position where they feel good about going into game 4. You want to have them totally discouraged.
Bad taste in their mouth.
Well, you know what? This is, see Hassell going to the basket here and a turnover.
And Stojakovic and Bibby for 3. Now watch out. Will Sacramento turn the tables on the Timberwolves, much like Minnesota turned it on the Kings in game 2. It is an 8-point game with plenty of time left.
So the reason I said that, Kevin, about Minnesota, you see Stojakovic just hits a basket, then Bibby follows it up with a 3. Obviously 2 critical guys to their team. But if Minnesota goes on to win this game, during the regular season, Sacramento was 34-7 here. 2 of the 7 losses to Minnesota. Now you come into the playoffs, they were undefeated at home. They lose here tonight. That would be 3 losses of 8 that they've had all year in this building administered by Minnesota.
And that, in turn, has given Minnesota unbelievable confidence just coming into this series. Knowing you can win, and probably the most difficult floor in the league is Garnett hits right there, and KG has gone a pristine 4 of 4 from the stripe tonight.
We have game 5 Friday night in Minnesota, all right? Kevin, I'm going to be very honest with you. I was watching the game the other night, and when Christie laid the ball in the basket to go up 10, and I saw Minnesota's body language, I didn't know that there would be a game 5. Now it's going to look like Minnesota's turned the tables.
Kings take a timeout.
And go home with at least the home court advantage, and who knows what's going to happen on Wednesday.
But there is still $1:36 to play here tonight. As the Timberwolves have a timeout remaining, and the Kings have a full and a 20 left. Kings down by 9. Timeout. Here are some reasons why the Minnesota Timberwolves were the #1 seed in the playoffs out of the Western Conference.
Well, opponent field goal percentage on the season, 41%. They were 4th behind Detroit, Indiana, and San Antonio. Point differential, they were 4th. They were tied for 1st with Indiana for the best road record. And look what they shoot, free throw percentage. They're a very good free throw shooting team. They're 5th. These are critical stats. When you start talking about being a team that can win in the playoffs, Kevin McHale, if his team can hold on here for a minute 34, has to feel very proud about what his team did at the end of game 2 and what they've done to come in here tonight and possibly steal back this home court advantage.
Sacramento is shooting 43% from the field. Madsen is on Bibby. They got Cassell back in the game against Christie. A bump into Sprewell and a foul. And it could go on either Sprewell or Cassell. Looks like Sam Cassell picks it up. That's number 6, and he's gone. He was only in the game, what, 4, 5, 6 seconds?
Well, I think he picked up 5 fouls in about 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, exactly right. And now he's gone.
Well, you know what's interesting? If you're Rick Adelman, you have to say going in to game 4, if they're going to play Sprewell on Bibby, then do you run Christie down into the post and maybe get him in foul trouble early in the game?
Christie, he missed a couple of clutch free throws late in the game in Minneapolis on Saturday. Misses right there. So in late game situations, Christie now is 1 of 4 from the stripe in the last 2 games.
We have not seen Blotti here late in the game. It's been a very disjointed night for Sacramento.
Garnett with 24 points, hounded by Peja Stojakovic, and here's Fred Hoiberg. And Mike Bibby is on him. So who's the point here? Is Garnett the point guard?
Yes, he is. Right now, you just want to keep the ball moving, use the clock, make sure you get a shot that hits the rim, and you don't want to do that. Turn it over.
Well, Minnesota's 7th steal. Mike Bibby for 3.
It's amazing, isn't it? I'm telling you, the games in the NBA, when you're ahead, will never end. They don't have to foul now. They don't need to foul. 59 seconds to go. They're going to get the ball back.
And Christie knocked it out of bounds. Shot clock at 16.
See, you don't want to turn it over because this is what happens when you turn the ball over. That's twice now Bibby's got spot-up threes. And what I said, you don't want good things to happen for Sacramento here at the end if you're Minnesota, because they will take that in to the next game.
Bibby has knocked in 2 threes tonight. 19 points for the Kings. Garnett. And Stojakovic on him. Stojakovic was a great defensive presence against Dallas. And Kevin Garnett with a miss. Rebound by Christie inside. He's got 10 rebounds. He's got a double-double. Stojakovic for 3. And a foul.
And a foul. This is incredible, Kevin. I mean, this game has switched so quickly. That's why you can't turn the ball over. These threes start going in. Sprewell saying, my goodness gracious, we're all right. But, I mean, Bibby's hit 2 threes. Stojakovic has hit a couple. And remember I said you didn't have to foul? Now, all of a sudden, there's a 7-second differential. So, I mean, you're in great shape right now. You get this free throw, you're down 1, you stop them, there's 7 seconds. You can come back and win the basketball game. That's why they didn't have to foul on the last possession.
Stojakovic can make this a 4-point play. He is 2 of 3 from the free throw line tonight. On off Garnett. No, off the Kings. Off the Kings, they say, unless they change it.
All right, now think about this. Christie missed a free throw. Stojakovic missed a free throw. The game is tied.
Right. Minnesota led by 14, 98-84, with 4:15 left. Isn't it ironic? With about the same amount of time remaining tonight as there was in game 2, we've seen a complete reversal with the team behind, accelerating ahead, and a foul was just called. And it goes on Christie for the 4th time with 26.8 to play.
See, this is where you really miss Cassell. He's a great free throw shooter, and he's a guy who can handle the basketball under pressure. You got Derek Martin. Now, the one thing I always watch is watch a guy when he gets to the free throw line. Does he start pulling on his jersey and doing all these extraneous moves? It'll show you whether or not he's nervous. You just watch his body language as he goes to the line. Derek Martin has been around a little bit, and normally he's a pretty good free throw shooter. But let's check to see if he can knock these in.
In the regular season, Martin was 9 of 9. In the playoffs, he has gone 3 of 6 from the free throw line. First trip tonight. Huge. Absolutely huge.
Now, the reason he's on this team is because he played here early in his career in Minnesota, but he played for Flip in the CBA. And Flip liked him and he trusted him. So when they had their problems with Troy Hudson with injuries, they picked him up to play 8 or 10 minutes because Flip trusted him.
He also played with Magic Johnson on the Magic Johnson All-Stars, missing the back end right there. And a timeout taken by Sacramento. And now the Kings will have 1 timeout, a 20 left. The Timberwolves have a full timeout remaining. And Sacramento with the ball, just under 25 seconds to play in regulation, and trailing by 3, 102-99. Can you believe these last 2 endings in this incredible Western Conference semifinal with the Timberwolves and the Kings? Wow. were down by a hefty margin, and they came back late in this game.
Well, turnovers. They've done such a great job. You get in the air, you turn it over. You can't defend against the steal. Mike Bibby knocks into three. What happens? Turnover. You can't get back. You can't defend against the steal. Bibby knocks another one down. That's how those leads go real quickly. In the open court, after the Garnett miss, a Stojakovic three. Now, more importantly, he misses the free throw. Christie missed 1 and 2, or we've got a tie game right now. Or actually, it would have been a one-point game because Martin didn't make the one free throw. Now, they don't need a three here, Kevin. They have a 20-second timeout. Get a quick field goal if you can, and then make Minnesota make some free throws. Extend the game. Don't shoot a three unless it's just right there for you.
And here comes Bibby off to Miller, picked up by Fred Hoiberg. Cassell is fouled out. It's Weber with the mismatch on Cassell.
Great job. They got the switch. They went inside. You got to love that.
And quickly fouled by Brad Miller is Derek Martin, who will once again go to the free throw line with pressure free throws facing him.
It's a good job here. They switched it. Garnett jumped out on Stojakovic, so he had the mismatch on Hassell. They throw the ball right down the lane line. That's good recognition by Sacramento. Derek Martin at the line once again. How about this pressure?
Guy who had his CBA season end. He was sitting at home when the Timberwolves called. And he is knocked down coolly in this game. 2 of 3 from the stripe.
What do you think Magic Johnson's saying in the studio right now about his teammates? Probably saying this is money in the bank.
Magic watched him at UCLA.
And again, if he makes this with 17 seconds to go, you still don't need a three. I mean, you don't need to launch up a bad three. Get a quick two, foul, and extend the game.
Kings have a timeout left. And here comes Bibby. It's against Martin and Stojakovic for the tie.
This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Remember now, Cassell has fouled out of the game. When this thing goes into overtime, he's not going to be here. I mean, look at the body language of Sacramento now, and look at Minnesota. This is an amazing thing. Mike Bibby did a wonderful job of screening off Hassell on that play. That's a play that they run a lot. Little dribble handoff, and Stojakovic, who had been ice cold the entire game, has buried 3 threes. Bibby has hit threes. This is amazing.
Peja Stojakovic was the number 6 3-point shooter in the NBA this season. Number 2 overall score. All right, what's Saunders telling his team in that huddle right now?
Well, they got to get a good shot. The question is, they don't have their point guard out there. So they don't have Sam Cassell to enter their offense. So is Derek Martin going to run the play? Are they going to go to Garnett? You know, and then is he going to be able to, out of the double team, find the open man? So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Stojakovic again as he buries the three, the emotion. And look at the looks on Minnesota's faces. That's almost reminiscent after Christie had made the layup when they went up 10 in Game 2, Sacramento, before Minnesota came back.
Minnesota down the stretch has missed their last 5 shots. They've also turned it over 3 times.
That's why 4.5 minutes in the NBA is eternity. You've seen so many crazy things happen. I thought Isaiah Thomas scored 16 points in about a minute and a half one night.
That's Kevin Garnett against Brad Miller.
Got to go.
Garnett. Stojakovic, he's in a straitjacket and 4 to 1 up. We got overtime. Buzzer sounds, light came on, and the Kings have fought back from a 15-point second-half deficit to tie the game. Minnesota led by 14 as late as 4:15, and they go on a 20-6 run, giving the game its 17th tie.
Now, I don't like this simply because it's too easy to double-team Kevin Garnett from there. They're going to drive him and spin him, and when they do, they're going to run in behind him.
And that takes us to overtime. These teams have played overtime games before. We'll tell you that story when we come back. Overtime before for these two teams, and back in early December, Kevin Garnett in the extra stanza was absolutely devastating.
Well, he hit 2 critical threes late to send the game into overtime. This is one where he stepped out and knocked the shot down, and this was the other to send the game into overtime where they won. He also had 25 rebounds in that game, but this is where, who is Minnesota going to draw in here? This is where Kevin Garnett has to be the MVP. Sam Cassell is not out there to run the team. Now Minnesota has got to be able to find out to recover from this little rush, this little spurt that they've been hit with Sacramento. How about the emotional highs and lows, Kevin, with these two teams?
They played, as you can see that graphic there, about how many overtime games they played in a row, 4 straight, including the first 2 meetings this year, which the Kings won back in November by 4. In Minnesota, as we just saw that great 33-25 performance of Kevin Garnett, won in early December. So this is the 3rd overtime game these two teams have played in the 7 meetings, including the playoffs this year.
Well, the problem you've got right now, if you're Minnesota, Bibby and Stojakovic are now shooting the ball well. They have made some big shots. They're hot.
Remember, Sam Cassell is fouled out of the game. Kevin Garnett knocked away by Miller and picked up by Peja Stojakovic, and here comes Doug Christie. And Stojakovic has got the hand.
Remember what I said when they had the lead? You cannot let good things happen for the Kings. I didn't think they were going to be able to win the game, but all of a sudden now Stojakovic and Bibby are making every shot.
Stojakovic has 22. Timberwolves are shooting 46%. Hoiberg for 3. Minnesota's getting cold. Rebound by Weber. And the Kings are shooting 46% as well.
I tell you, both these coaches are going to be in straitjackets after this series. I'm telling you.
Not to mention the two of us.
Yeah.
Here comes Brad Miller.
No question.
How exciting. It's Chris Weber with 17. Martin knocked it away. Hoiberg gets it. They got a little 2-on-2 with Martin colliding with Bibby with his great defense, and Christie brings it back the other way.
I think Bibby has 5 fouls. He was very good. Look at this. He's making every shot.
Missing a 3. Sprewell the rebound. He clutches onto his 8. Sprewell has 23. And Kevin Garnett with the Timberwolf high 24. Double team, maybe triple teamed inside with a Sacramento foul. And they're going to put that on Brad Miller, who picks up his 5th of the game.
They're going to call that on the pass. Look at the 3-point shooting. That's how you get yourself right back in at 5 of 6 for 35 points in that period. 14 of them off turnovers. That's what those turnovers will do.
Minnesota hasn't hit from the field in over 5 minutes and 20 seconds as Garnett tried to grind his way in, and he is fouled on the play. Number 4 is put on Chris Weber.
Kevin, remember we were talking about the first 2 games. In the 4th quarter of the first 2 games, Sam Cassell had scored 22 of the 35 points that Minnesota scored. He had 8 of 15 from the floor. Garnett and Sprewell were combined 2 of 13. They're going to have to be the guys tonight. There is no Sam Cassell. They're going to have to draw on the MVP and Sprewell. Those are the 2 guys who are going to have to make plays for them.
Minnesota from the free throw line tonight, 16 of 22. Kings are 23 of 29. And Garnett coolly drains it, 5 of 6, 25 points. As Trenton Hassell will come in.
They go off.
Martin will lead.
Excuse me, Kevin. Offensive, defensive substitution. Now Hassell in the game. So that'll put, again, Garnett back at the point guard position.
This is the 6th time in Sacramento era playoff history they've had an overtime game. Dallas was the last in the playoffs a season ago. Christie, Miller, little drop pass for Mike Bibby. The 2-man game with Miller. And Weber with the shot clock at 5, and Christie's got fire. It's a two-point try, and Miller is there with the offensive rebound, losing it. And a jump ball is what they call one hustle by Kevin Garnett, who was right in the back of Brad Miller. And Dick Bavetta jumping in with the call.
That's why you go down the floor for loose balls. That's another reason why you're the MVP. Look at him throwing himself around down on the floor here. The ball is loose. He doesn't reach for it. He puts himself right down on top of it, dives right down to get the jump ball, and he should have the advantage here and get this tip.
Sacramento Kings tonight are +10 overall in rebounding. And we know Weber can't jump, so this would be an easy tap for Garnett. Or rather, Miller can't jump as high as Kevin can, so this...
He stole the tip.
Well, he did, yeah, he did. He got up there quick, and that means that Minnesota will inbound. Yep, and that's what ticks off Miller. Minnesota's last field goal, Doug, came at the 3:45 mark of the fourth quarter.
You know, the only thing bad about this right now, what's going on, it's 1:45 back in the East. There's a lot of people sleeping who are missing some kind of game.
Terrific ball game. Sprewell against Christie. In overtime, Garnett against Weber. They now double him with Christie and Kevin bobbling. The shot clock at 4. Trenton Hassell hit nothing. He was hit as he was going up on the shot.
Is that Bibby's 6th?
And he's gone. And a technical foul on Bibby as he throws his headband up into the crowd.
Oh, Mike Bibby is hot. Here's somebody throwing down stuff on top of us.
Well, now Sam Cassell has fouled out of the game, and Mike Bibby has fouled out of the game. The 2 point guards, these point guards have influenced all the playoffs in the NBA this postseason.
You see, hit him on the elbow. When a ball goes like that, he did not hit the ball. You could see, and Mike Bibby can't do that. He's got to keep his poise there.
Hoiberg misses the free throw. Hoiberg have been 2 of 2 from the line. So Bibby is ticked off. We're still tied now at 106. We've got 2.5 to play in the first overtime here in Sacramento.
And we got no point guards left. We're going to bring you onto the floor, Coach Harlan, to run the team.
And I'll be looking for you. Slash it off the baseline. We got a timeout. They've been going full speed all right tonight in this very hotly contested Game 3 in this best-of-7 Western Conference Semifinal, tied at a game apiece.
You know, Kevin, it's interesting. When you look at the numbers, Minnesota only has 7 turnovers in this game. We see tonight the Game 3, obviously. Wednesday, the Game 4 will be in Minnesota Friday night for Game 5. But you look, Minnesota only has 7 turnovers. They had turnovers in that fourth quarter that cost them 14 points.
Cassell at the line, looking at the Kings tonight, Doug Collins. They've only played 7 players, and they just lost one, and Mike Bibby do foul trouble.
I'll tell you, the mood swings in this series that we've only into Game 3 have been incredible.
Anthony Peeler comes in for Mike Bibby. Doug Christie with 24 points and 11 rebounds tonight. He's got the double-double, as does Kevin Garnett with 26 and 14. Stojakovic has caught fire in the second half and slashes inside. It's Peeler for 3. Rebound, Kevin Garnett taken away by Miller, bumping into Johnson. Outside a wide open 3 by Christie. Miller couldn't get his hands on Urban Johnson. Rumbling out of bounds off of Minnesota. Sacramento will inbound with 2 to play in overtime.
Well, fatigue setting in right now on Minnesota's front line. Kevin Garnett is worn out. Someone's going to have to help him come back and get some rebounds. If I'm Sacramento, I go to that offensive boards. And that's what Weber and Miller are doing. Look at the great hustle by all the players involved. Brad Miller down on the floor. New shot clock.
And Urban Johnson. Here comes Stojakovic. 22 points. Weber, he's got 17. Foul. And Hassell in there defending. Cassell picks it up. Number 3 on him. Boy, look at the minutes played tonight. Sprewell's played 47. Garnett's played 42. Off the bench, Hoiberg's played 33 for the Kings, 47 for Stojakovic, 45 for Weber, 40 for Christie. Peja Stojakovic for 3.
This guy couldn't make a shot. Now all of a sudden he can't miss a shot.
He's got 25 points. That is a Kings high. And they've got a 1-point lead. Hoiberg. Sprewell's got 23.
Now Kevin Garnett has got to come get the basketball. He's the guy.
With the defense by Christie. Here comes KG and a foul on Chris Weber. He's got 5.
Peja Stojakovic once again working off the screen. Hassell comes in from behind him, gets a hand in his back, and he still knocks the shot in. Mike Bibby. And these two guys with their three-point shooting have electrified this crowd and given Sacramento what looked to be they were going to be knocked out here tonight and trailing 2-1 and losing the home court advantage, and they have fought back to take the lead.
But one thing that has really fallen for Minnesota, the number of free throw attempts. Here's Garnett, who is 6 of 7, now 7 of 8. That's 28 free throw attempts for Minnesota, and now 29 for the Kings. Before it was a double-digit free throw attempt deficit for the T-Wolves.
This is Kevin Garnett. This is where, as the MVP, he's got to lead his team to a victory.
Yeah, big free throws in game 2 as well. Minnesota in overtime from the free throw line has gone 6 of 7. Doug Christie. Miller. Stojakovic. And a foul. Peja Stojakovic has been unstoppable since late in the 4th, and certainly this overtime.
Kevin, what about the pass? What's the pass from Brad Miller? Right over the top of the head of the defender, and look at the catch and finish. He comes back to the other side of the basket. The soft roll. What a tremendous play. Just the confidence that Brad Miller had in Stojakovic that he could even catch the ball, let alone make the basket.
Peja Stojakovic has scored all 7 Sacramento overtime points. Timeout. Peja Stojakovic, one of the great shooters in the NBA, 27 points, the majority of which are certainly the most clutch of which Doug Collins have come late in the game and in overtime.
Well, his shooting electrifies this team, and he's made some big ones tonight. I mean, it looked like they were dead in the water, Kevin. I mean, they had nothing going for them. And then all of a sudden, some turnovers. Mike Bibby hits some big threes. Stojakovic, he hits the 3 to tie it at 10.7 seconds. He has all 7 points here in overtime. Has a chance here if he finishes off the three-point play to give his team a 2-point lead. But look at the 4th quarter and overtime. 20 points. And the guy was, he was non-existent in the first 3.5 quarters. He could not buy a shot.
And isn't it ironic that Minnesota, who trailed by 10 with 4:11 to play in game 2, came back to win it. Tonight led in Sacramento in the final 4 minutes of regulation, came back and outscored them 22-8. Just the reverse.
That's a big miss. It keeps it on the odd number. That means with the 2s, they can take the lead.
Sprewell with a big-time hit. He's got 25.
Stojakovic has missed 2 free throws tonight. He had made, 65 in a row at one time here.
That's a drought of almost 8 minutes for the Timberwolves, dating back to the 4th quarter. Stojakovic with a miss and out of bounds and off of Minnesota with 45 seconds to play in overtime.
What's going to happen next here, Kevin? I mean, this is amazing. It really is.
We are harnessed in as tight as we can be. Here comes Weber. 6 of 16 against Irvin Johnson, who has not given up any ground. Oh, and Stojakovic turns it over. Number 18 on the part of the Kings. Minnesota, in contrast, with just 7 turnovers tonight. Minnesota's got the lead and the ball in a difference of about 12 seconds. Game clock to shot clock. Who will take the shot with 3 to go? Garnett. Oh, what a shot by Kevin Garnett. And a timeout taken with the Timberwolves leading by 3.
his presence of mind. When he caught that ball, Kevin, he looked at the shot clock at the other end of the floor. He looked at the shot clock at the other end of the floor and saw how much time he had and turned and make the shot. Now watch Kevin Garnett's eyes. Look at him. Did you see him look at the other end of the floor? Knocked it in. Now the question is, will Minnesota foul here? Will they take the foul? Kevin McHale saying, take the foul. Watch him. He's going to look at Flip, and he said, take the foul. Don't let him shoot the three.
Garnett's got a game-high 30, 7 in OT, and he just put the Wolves on top by 3. The ever-observant Doug Collins had a very neat little insight into Kevin Garnett working against the shot clock.
Well, watch him look at the other end. He knows where the shot clock is. He looks up, and he says right there, he said, I got to get the shot off. There's 3 seconds here. I got to turn and get it off. And he does in traffic. Actually, Christie reached in and got a hand on that wrist. Could have very easily been a 3-point play. But now you saw Kevin McHale, he sort of yelling at Flip like, take the foul,
right.
Take the foul. Are they going to burn some clock and maybe take a foul so they can't shoot a 3 to tie it here?
10.8 remaining. And the Kings are down by 3. No fouls to give either way. Miller.
Take it now. Take it now.
And a foul on Hassell. That's right. 6.1 left. That's 5 on Hassell, and Stojakovic will be at the line, and he is 2 of 5.
Missed 3 free throws tonight.
Yep, that is, and he's a guy that came into this game hitting 64 consecutive free throws dating back to mid-March.
Now what Flip Saunders is going to tell his team right here, make or miss on the free throw, we want a timeout. So they are not going to take any chance on fighting this ball up the floor. Most important thing is you got to make sure you got enough big people in there to get the rebound. You look at Hassell underneath the basket here. If Stojakovic misses the second one, he's going to make sure he blocks out.
He's got Peeler for the Kings at his side. Timberwolves have a timeout, and the Kings have 2. They got a full and they got a 20. It's inside the NBA is getting revved up in Atlanta.
So obviously you're going to take you're going to make this free throw here, and then you got to foul immediately.
Now it is a 1-point game, a Minnesota timeout, and that is their final timeout in overtime. The winner of this game goes up 2 games to 1 in this best of 7 Western Conference Semifinal. Minnesota has just burned their last timeout. The Kings have 2. They got a full and a 20 remaining with 6.1 remaining in overtime.
All right, first of all, you have to have someone throw the ball in that you trust, who's not going to panic, because you have no timeouts. Under the rules now, you can throw the ball into the back court. Remember, it used to be you had to throw it in the. You can throw the ball, so you can spread it out and use all 94 feet, would make it easier to get it in. And if you can, you want to get it in to your best free throw shooter, if at all possible. But the one thing you can't do is throw a lazy pass towards half court that can be picked off and the other team go down and score to beat you.
Rodney Buford has come in for the first time in this series. As Sprewell will inbound and gets it to Garnett, who is tripped and down. He traveled with the ball. With 4.1 to play.
This is amazing. I have never seen so many crazy things happen.
And a timeout taken by Sacramento.
Kevin Garnett catches the ball, and you see he slides. I couldn't tell whether there was any contact at all there, but he couldn't take a timeout because they were out of timeout. There would have been a technical foul.
And Cassell is saying that he was pushed. Rodney Buford had come in, and he was one of the primary defenders for the Sacramento Kings on Kevin Garnett.
See, when you run out of timeouts, normally you could take a timeout and get it back, but it would have been a technical foul. But watch here. You're going to see it looks like his feet just fell out from underneath him.
He wasn't pushed.
That was a good call.
He lost his balance. As simple as that. But he did slip. So now, let's switch gears. 4.1. Stojakovic has scored all 9 Sacramento points in overtime. What are they digging up in that Sacramento huddle?
Well, obviously, if you can free up Stojakovic for a shot, that's what you'd like to do. Normally, you'd go to a guy like Mike Bibby here. This is the time where he can get to the basket off the dribble. Really, nobody else on this Sacramento team can break you down off the dribble. So if you're Minnesota, you're probably going to switch on everything, but you have to be very careful of them throwing the ball inside to Weber after a switch for a quick post-up. So, this is going to be very interesting.
It'll be Christie, Weber, Miller, Stojakovic out there for the Sacramento Kings, and Anthony Peeler will be the 5th King player.
Remember, Sacramento had 3 very close games against Dallas and won them all. Can they pull another one out here tonight?
Cassell's fouled out. Sprewell, Hassell, Madsen, Kevin Garnett, Fred Hoiberg. Christie will inbound. Timeout. That's the last one. That's the last one for Sacramento. So the Timberwolves got a little taste of what the Kings may try. They'll go back and huddle on their side. Inside the NBA is next with a lot to talk about tonight. Miami in our first game of our doubleheader on TNT tonight, beating Indiana. And we'll get post-game reaction from this game coming up next.
The one thing, Kevin, if you're Minnesota, you do not foul a jump shooter. You cannot foul a jump shooter. You get a hand up, but you cannot foul a guy shooting a jump shot.
Chance of go, Kings go from another capacity crowd. Christie again to inbound, 4.1. No timeouts either way. Stojakovic. And rejected by Hassell. Picked up by Sprewell, and Minnesota takes a lead in the series. Trenton Hassell with a tremendous defensive play.
Wow, this was some game. People throwing stuff onto the floor right now. Going to be very careful somebody doesn't get hit in the eye. That was an amazing basketball game. The highs and lows, the ups and downs, everything that happened tonight, and this crowd is stunned. Let's take a look to see here the pump fake. And you got the ball. It looked like Stojakovic kicked his leg out to try to draw the foul, but Trenton Hassell came up with a big play. Watch now. Watch now.
There may have been some elbow contact.
The question is, did Stojakovic take the ball into him? That's, did he try to create the contact? That's a tough play to have to officiate.
So now the Minnesota Timberwolves take a 2-1 lead. Game 4 is here Wednesday. Game 5 in Minneapolis on Friday. A terrific ball game with so many twists and turns as the Timberwolves win it 114-113. Minnesota has won 3 consecutive games this season in this building. One of the most difficult in the NBA to win on for an opposing team.
Well, it looked like at the end there, in the middle of the 4th quarter, it was going to be easy. But they had to fight every step of the way as Sacramento, with a strong finish, they just couldn't quite pull it out.
Garnett had 30, Sprewell 25. Stojakovic had 29. 1-point overtime Minnesota win. Let's go to Ernie Johnson.